I think it's going to be a really great show tonight. I know you guys love Colt, and I could say that too as somebody who's spent a lot of time in his stream. And Colt, I'll say this directly to you, since even though you're not like technically on camera, it's kind of weird from what I'm seeing here. But basically the way I think about your stream is it's almost like you're hanging out all the time, and at any point in time, I'm welcome into your house where like whatever you're doing, you're like ready to have a conversation. It never feels like a one-way sort of interaction where like you're just doing your own thing and the chat's taking a back seat. You do a really good job of just like conversing with the people that are in there, and then indulging in, you know, tangents and ridiculous ideas or really plausible things. So it's really awesome to hear. You're good. Thank you so much. But
Appreciate that.
No problem. Just as a heads up too, if you guys have any questions and you notice that me and Colt are in deep conversation, you don't want your anecdote or question to be missed, if you do exclamation point Q and type out what you're looking to ask or whatever, we'll get to it at the end of stream if we miss it. But Colt, if you see something that you want to address, like just let me know, because again, like I'll be bouncing between talking with you and chat. Sound good?
For sure. Yeah.
Because this is like, I know it's like you're on my channel or whatever, but this is our conversation, right?
For sure. Yeah. I dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah. So give everybody like a little bit of an intro of yourself, just in case they're unfamiliar with you.
Oh shit. Like a Tinder profile thing? No.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that.
My name's ColtDiggity. I stream on Twitch pretty regularly. I do have a day job that takes up a lot of my time, so I have to cancel some streams. But in any case, I stream mostly strategy and simulation games. And I try, like KonkyTalks was just saying, I try to involve chat more so like everybody was just chilling on a couch kind of thing, and we're all just hanging out playing this video game essentially. And strategy games are what I have always grown up with, and that's what I've always loved. And so that's basically it. I'm a nerd and I'm also a master mechanic, and I've been a mechanic for about 16 years. And so I like to bring my problem solving into those games and then discuss with other nerds about strategy games on different ways of doing things and solving problems. So that's kind of a big part of it.
Hell yeah.
So,
well, you succeed, sir, and you're constantly getting better at it. So, yeah, we had like a few topics we wanted to go over too, but before we do that, how was this past week for you, man?
Oh, not too bad. I've got a new apprentice at work. I shouldn't say new apprentice. It just always feels like there's something new with the guy.
Yeah.
But he's doing really good, and I've noticed a shitload of growth out of him, and so that's really nice.
Yeah.
It has hindered me a little bit, but that's just teaching things, you know.
Yeah, of course.
There's not a lot you can do with it, but other than that, it's actually been a fantastic week. The temperature finally came down. I live in the South, where it's typically just a hot soup.
Yeah.
And we got down to the 80s this week.
Oh,
so
wow.
I almost didn't feel like I was dying.
Dude, that's good.
So that was nice.
Yeah.
Other than that, oh man, I tell you what I did?
What?
I went through I got a VR setup, right?
Oh,
and yeah. So I thought getting a VR setup, I thought to myself, this will be easy. Like I looked up like small room scale stuff because I stream from it's not a tiny room, but for all the equipment and everything, it makes it a small room.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, this will be easy. I'll just set it up. It won't be no problem. Well, I got it. And then I realized that this is going to be very difficult because I have so much shit, and you have to have a much larger space like that. I didn't realize, I knew that the base stations had to sit opposite of each other, but I didn't realize how opposite that meant. Right. So I literally have a base station directly above me, and I have another one over on another wall over there, which is also covered in soundproofing foam. So I went through, in order to rearrange my entire room, I went through and I started with one shelf, and I was like, you know what? I haven't touched this shelf in years. Okay. We're just going to throw it away. So I cleaned everything off of it, kept the things that I needed, like you do, and then tossed the shelf. That started a whole, we're going to throw away everything I haven't touched in a year, basically. And so now I've got trash bags. I got a guy coming on Saturday that's going to come pick up some soundproofing paneling that I had bought that I ended up never using because I rented my other studio out to somebody else. And so, this weekend's just going to be back and forth to the local dump about 100 times, but it'll be nice. It's, it's one of those things where you rearrange things and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to rearrange all of it at once. So, and I did get the VR finally set up, and God, if you haven't experienced VR, because I had never experienced VR until I got this one.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
I spent 7 hours in it on Monday playing No Man's Sky, and after a while, everything just became like second nature. And then I think it was you actually that I was talking to, and you said that when you finally came out of the VR world, you had to like readjust yourself to 100%, reality.
Yeah,
100%, exactly what I experienced.
Especially when you're in for 8 hours. Colt.
Yeah, man. I took that thing off because I had been like basically just standing in the same spot in this fucking crazy world. And then I took that headset off and I was like, interesting. And I had to like learn how to walk again. It was it was weird, man. It was real weird.
Dude,
I dug it.
Did you play the like Portal VR experience at all?
Yeah, the hands, the Aperture Hand Labs.
So like, you know how in like some of those game modes in there, like you pull things to your face and then you're like transported to a different like area.
Right.
So that was dope. But like also in the game, like in a few of the games, like whenever you're done with something, you toss it. And so like I think I did it for around the same time, like 6-7 hours. And then when I got home, I like drank water and I caught myself, but I almost just was like, I'm done with this cup. Like it was so crazy. And then when I was closing my eyes, because you know how like you have that grid view where it's like loading in and you're like able to explore like in a blank space, I had that like grid view, like it was scary. It was almost like it was burned into my eyes.
Right. Yeah That was actually the weirdest side effect, was how you don't realize like that you blink, I guess. I don't know, like it's just a motor function that just happens, right? It's just a natural part of the human body. I don't think I blinked in that thing, right? My eyes were just comfy in that thing. And then as soon as I took them off, I was like, oh my God, I think my eyes are going to fall out of my head, because I think that was the first time that I had blinked in like 7 or 8 hours or whatever. It was nuts, man. It was nuts. Really, I got the Valve Index, which from what I've read and everything, that's like the new innovative thing, because it has actual finger tracking and all that. And I'm huge into new tech. I enjoy new tech a lot. And it blows my mind, dude. Like literally every time that I put the headset on, because like if you've ever played Steam VR, right, which is you're basically just your dashboard for when you go into a VR world, you're just a set of hands and you can be anywhere in the world. Like the current apartment that I have set up is overlooking the Great Wall of China, right? But it literally, and I know that sounds nerdy and stupid as hell, but literally,
hell no, dude.
It looks like you're at the fucking Great Wall of China. Like it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And you can like walk around it and stuff. It's really neat. But just the fact that you have actual fingers and you can walk up to objects in the world, and if you go out to grab it, you actually grab the object, and then you're just like holding this object and you're like, well, that was cool, but I don't know what to do with it. So you just throw it. Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird. I dig it though. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah. There's man. Yeah. VR is really dope. Speaking like for this past week, we did there's a VR place called Mass VR in Chicago, and it's Halo, but in a VR setup in a mall. So they modeled so they modeled they modeled the levels, and like the whole game is modeled around how the mall is, and you're on a single level, but like, man, I was worried because like on paper, especially when I was watching in videos too, like I was like, okay, well, I'm paying $50 for like an hour. It's not super bad, right? But still my money. And I'm like going through like YouTube videos, and they're like Mass VR gameplay, and somebody played. It was just like 2.5 minutes of like what looked like the shittiest gameplay I've ever seen in a video game, with like the Wii menu music. And I was like, oh my God, I wasted my fucking money. And so like when we get in there, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. They have like literally it's like the mall's gutted and this place exists inside of it. And they have VR backpacks where like the gaming rig set up, and then they have the sensors going throughout the entire floor. And and the levels that you're in there's 3 levels, and the way they like have the tracking set up, or how your characters are set up, is to avoid running into each other, there is, no matter which level you're on, a ghost of the player model, unless they're fully rendered. And if they're fully rendered, it means they're like on the same plane as you, and then you can shoot them. So
That's sick.
It's really fucking cool, because I was like trying to get acclimated, and like, dude, you get jetpacks and stuff too, so you're like, your chest feels like you're falling and stuff. And then literally there was just so many parts where like there was a bunch of people who had done this because it was for somebody's birthday, and it was their first time doing VR, and so they were like, okay, can I fall down here? And then they would just like close their eyes and jump, and then they would like look, and I was just hearing people like screaming outside. Because they just couldn't like, they didn't understand the difference, because like your body, even though it's a virtual world, and I think you can agree with this, but the experience feels real regardless of that, because the dimensions are correct and like you're moving around and all that.
Oh yeah, dude, your body, your brain, not just your body, your brain tricks your body into thinking that it's real. Because even playing No Man's Sky, I've built 2 bases now that are, because I love base building, I've built 2 bases now that I did fully in VR, and I had to do a lot of like jetpacking and jumping off of it and things like that. And the first probably like, I don't know, 100 times that I jumped off the roof of a 3-story building, it was like, oh fuck. Yeah. This is a 3-story building. You can't just do that.
Like hyping yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
This isn't real life. Yeah.
It's weird. I tell you what, the first night that I got it, actually, there's a roller coaster sim game, whatever, and I got it because I wanted to ride a roller coaster, which, by the way, in real life, I don't ride any roller coasters. Dang. I have a horrible fucking fear of mechanical failure, and I will not ride a roller. I don't care if that shit was engineered by the greatest engineers of our time. I'm not riding it. I don't care. So I was like, okay, this is fucking VR. I can do this. I rode a roller coaster. Couldn't do it. Took the headset off. It actually felt like I did fine around curves and everything. And then they reached this point where you come to like the top of a mountain, and it like ratchets up to the top, and then it just like over the edge, and you look down, and then it just dropped. And I was like, fuck that. I took that headset right off. Just set that thing right over, because my body, like, have you ever woke up from a falling dream?
Yeah.
That's literally what it felt like.
Yep.
Like my body actually felt like it was falling, and I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. And I set it down. To be fair, the game does give you like a warning beforehand. It's like, hey, it will give you this feeling, blah, blah, blah. There's like a whole readout you got to do, and you got to sign a thing saying that you understand that and all that. But really impressive stuff. Impressive stuff. So,
well, I don't know if you like know about they actually do therapy for people who have mental illnesses using VR. And that shit is amazing. Like you
mentioned that, and I actually went on online and started researching that, and that is crazy.
Right?
They are doing some really cool stuff. The brain, which I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a shitload about anything. I play video games and I work on cars for a living.
Sure.
But, the brain is a
fascinating.
We don't know shit about it.
100%.
We don't know shit about the brain. We have no idea. I mean, because there's so many ways that you can trick it and confuse it and make it do. It's just nuts, man. And it's really, really interesting.
I don't know what it is about like specifically VR, but it just like when I did it, it just made me question all of it. Like all of my the introspection portion of it was just like so dumbfounding to me. I couldn't cope with the fact that even though I know it's not like technically real or whatever, right, the experience felt real. And then taking off the headset was like, my brain was like, oh, you're back home now, and I'm like, I didn't go anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's just that really weird disconnect I never got. And it was that VR warehouse I did. I fucking barreled into somebody because I did 2 sessions back to back, and they recommend like you do one session, you sit out, and then you do like another one. And I was like, okay, well, I'm spending $50 and I'm just gonna do 2 back to back. And so I flanked the enemy team. I killed somebody in front of me, and then was going to kill the other person. And like the way the people die in the game. Like I said, there's ghosts, right? But as soon as the body dropped, I was like, you're not in front of me. And I just fucking ran and just plowed into this like small girl. And I was like, I took my headset off. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I had no idea. It just completely, my brain was like, you're here now, dude. Like nothing else out of here is real. And then the headset came off and I was like, I literally hit a person. Fuck.
You should have like owned that moment and just been like, get out of my way.
Teabagged him.
Yeah. Just moved on.
I was doing that constantly when we were playing though. I was just, because the first game I was trying to get my bearings. So I got like, I don't know, like 14 or 15 kills or whatever. And then the second game, I got 30, like literally double or more of what the opposite team had and what my current teammates had. And like everybody was trying to kill me. It was awesome. So if you're ever in Chicago, hit me up, dude. We gotta like grab a drink and do that because it's sick.
Dude, I absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's really weird that you say that because I did not know that you were in Chicago until just now. But there's another streamer, Moldy Lunchbox, and he's been trying to get me to come to Chicago for a while. And in like the last like 4 or 5 months, I've actually started to plan a trip to Chicago. I got to get through TwitchCon first, of course. That's a huge expenditure, but yeah, dude, I am absolutely ready to come to Chicago. I want to experience it. I've never been to Chicago. I've never done New York. Like I've lived in a lot of places around the United States, but places that, because I don't like large crowds.
Sure.
Yeah. So going to places like Chicago, New York City, all that kind of stuff I've never done, but I'm putting them on my list. Like I'm tired of not traveling to these places, you know?
Yeah. Well, like I don't know. I'm not a big one for crowds either. Like I don't like crowded bars or anything like that. Like Chicago to me it's the spaces that are comfortable where you can just enjoy company and there's not like everybody's got their own vibe, right? And a lot of the people there's a lot of really great places in Chicago, but a lot of really loud fucking places where like you can't even have a conversation without yelling, and that's not conducive for me. Like I want to create memories with my friends, not have a fucking sore voice the next day and remember only that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, exactly.
Yeah.
Just spent 12 hours screaming at people. Absolutely.
Right. Do you like this song? What? Yeah. Joctopus. Oh my God, Shock. It's been a long time. I hope you've been well. I guess it's the same as that. Sorry, distracted.
No, you're fine.
You ever just space out for a long time while driving, thinking about something and miss your exit thinking about it, but at the same time, you were driving just fine without crashing? Yeah, it's called autopilot. It's dangerous.
Yep. Man, I used to work. That's actually very interesting. I used to get really nervous about this because I did this a lot, but I used to work from where I live an hour and a half away, right? And on my way home after about a year of it, actually, I started to notice that by the time I would get to the house, I would be like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, oh, that's no good.
Yeah. That's scary. 100%.
No, and so then for like a week, I would like super pay attention to my driving and all that stuff. And then I would do it again because it literally like your brain's just like, fuck it.
You're used to it.
Same thing that we do every fucking day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts, dude.
Driven to my old work before, dude. I don't even want to get into that. Yeah, absolutely. God. That's the worst.
What would be your top travel place?
Like in the United States?
No, anywhere, man.
Just anywhere. Bonaire. Bonaire's the absolute top.
What is that?
Absolutely. Bonaire is an island off the coast of Venezuela. It is it's in the ABC Islands, which is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, and it's the Dutch islands. And do you scuba dive, Konky?
I'm afraid of the ocean, so
okay, so an island's not your thing. So
I'll put my feet in the water on the beach, though.
It is legitimately a scuba diver's paradise. It is crystal clear blue water. The island's about 9 miles in total, right? To give you an idea of how small this island is, right? You fly in, then you land at Venezuela, and then you fly on a plane that is about this big. You have to sit on top of it. It's super tiny. And then they fly you like a 20-minute flight that's very bumpy and horrifying with a guy that does not speak any English whatsoever and is constantly screaming at you something. And then you land on a dirt road. That's how small this island is. And then once you get there, you are literally in paradise. And
Wow.
the resorts there all cater to actually Texan in chat. I knew that he would chime in if I said something. He has definitely, some of the best scuba diving in the world and some of the best windsurfing in the world. Yes. Dude, people always, it blows my mind because you get those hotspot travel locations. Like people want to go to Brazil. They want to go to Blue Hole in Belize. You know, they have all these like hotspots. Aruba. You always hear about Aruba, right? Aruba is like 10 nautical miles from Bonaire, and it's a quarter of the price, and it's the same fucking water with better food, less people, and nicer people on top of that, because the whole island is built off of tourism, right? And dude, I wish I had pictures to show you. Like it is.
Well, here. I got the internet at my disposal.
Yeah. Google that thing. Look up Eden Beach Resort.
Eden Beach.
You literally, so to continue that, they give you a golf cart, right?
For the whole island?
Yeah, they give you a golf cart if you book the resort, like the proper resort.
This is $108 a night. That's fucking nothing. Holy
That's
shit.
cheaper than what I'm paying to go to fucking San Diego in 30 days.
100%.
It's like $1,300 gets you onto the island. And beyond that, it's up to you. Now, food, I will say food's pretty expensive.
Well, yeah, it's on an island. Unless you're scuba diving, like picking shit out of the ocean, you're probably gonna be
exactly. The whole island itself, the commodities on there that you would eat and enjoy, those are fairly pricey. But when I say pricey, I mean I'm talking like you get a burger and it's like $15,
right?
You know, so but it's not that bad. You're on vacation, you're in paradise. Spend some fucking money on yourself. So
treat yourself.
They give you literally a golf cart.
I can't do it. You're just gonna be in my brain. I can't
just accidentally bring up porn.
No, I can't. Like, I actually don't watch porn on this computer at all. It's a rule.
Yeah, just for that purpose.
Just for this computer. Yeah. Okay. I can't show you guys because I have the window chroma keyed out for Colt, and when I bring in any photos with green in them at all, it defeats the whole purpose. But it looks beautiful. Look it up, everyone.
7 dead green bodies behind me. So that's why we have to keep the chroma key on. So here's the best part of the whole thing, man. I mean, the island, like I said, literally is about 9 miles across, right?
Right.
And so they give you a golf cart. And I have all my own scuba equipment because I've dove for a long time. But even if you didn't, you can rent all your shit from the resort.
I had no idea you were a scuba diver. That's fucking
love it.
Awesome.
Love it. Oh my God, it's so peaceful. So you basically just put your tanks on the back of this golf cart and you have all your gear and everything with you, and you don't need a wetsuit. I mean, you're literally in paradise. So the water is like 70 degrees. It's like bath water. Yeah,
that's nice.
And it doesn't even really matter how deep down you go. You're pretty much in bath water. So I wear what's called a rash guard because on coral reefs there are some poisonous corals, and so if you brush one, you don't want to get stung or anything. So what have you? But in any case, so you really literally just have a minor amount of gear. Your tank's on the back of it. You're just driving around this little tiny island, and if you're like, oh man, this looks like a nice spot, I'm gonna go get in the water. You just drive your golf cart up to a sandy beach and then suit up and then just walk into the water like the thing. It's nothing I've ever experienced. It's like nothing I've ever experienced. You literally just walk into the water and then...
Wait, so you've done this?
You're diving, yeah.
Oh shit, you were talking about it like you've never been... Wait, maybe that's how the question was phrased, but that's amazing. That's great.
No. You literally are just walking into the water, and the next thing you know, you're in a completely different world, a completely different environment, and it's their version of a paradise, the fish version of a paradise, you know? And there's just life everywhere, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You ever mistaken for a whale? Shred guy, you son of a bitch. All right. I knew somebody was going to come in here and troll me. But yes, once, actually. All right. And it was not fun. And it was also, they were more like, what the hell? How's there only a 5-foot whale? That was their real question. So, thanks for that.
asking the hard-hitting questions. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Dude, I had no, I don't know. They fear heights. Like, to me, I was like, okay, fear heights. I mean, for me, the ocean isn't necessarily scary for me. Like, I would be down to scuba dive. The closest thing I ever did was, like, I did snorkeling in St. James, and that was fucking cool. Like, that was crazy. I was surrounded by, like, parrotfish. But then I got, like, super paranoid about it because, you know, I'm, like, mouth coming through all of that fish that was around me to, like, get something. I don't want to be there, you know? I don't exist. I don't have the appendages. Like, we have separate gear to help us be in the water. So it's like, if I got to do more work to do that, I'm just fighting nature at that point, and I don't want to do it.
That's actually what started my fascination with scuba diving, is that you're literally, because we know more about space than we do about our own oceans on our own planet. Right. And that fascinates the fuck out of me, because it's a completely different environment. And it's not, you know, it's so hard to describe. It's just like VR, dude. It's
alien. It's a completely different, like, it is so outside of the comfort zone of your everyday life that it can't help but make your brain function on a different plane, because you don't exist there. Like, you know, it's crazy. And it's also kind of cool too, because you're like going back to like the birthplace. You know what I mean? Like, that's where that's where like humans like came from. Was like, we all started from like evolution took us to the point where like we're on land and talking on the internet and shit. But like a majority of our time was in the water. And I mean, it's how our eyes work too, which is super cool. But I don't know,
it's
man.
Also,
there's something weird.
It's also always, I mean, not all, I mean, literally consistently throughout all of history, even after we got on land, you'll still see our largest cities and our most precious possessions as humans, not just as Americans or Canadians or Mexicans or anything like that. Just as humans in general, our most prized possessions are typically on a coast. They're right next to water. And so it's always been like a super fascinating environment to me. The fact that these things thrive because they have it has its own natural world order. There's a place actually in oh my god, North Carolina. It's a shipwreck. It was an accidental shipwreck, right? And when I say accidental, I mean that they meant to sink it. They just didn't mean to sink it where it sank, right? Like, they punched the hole too early, and it was like a $200 million mistake, right? So we had a battleship called the Aeolus that we sent out to sea for its final voyage, and then we sunk it to the ground. And it has now become one of the top spots on the planet for diving with tiger sharks. And tiger sharks,
they're mean.
Aside from great white sharks, tiger sharks are literally the shark that you fucking avoid when you're when you're scuba diving. If you see a tiger shark, the first thing that you think to yourself is like, he's this way. I need to be very still and then go this way, right? So a very interesting thing about the Aeolus dive is when you actually drop down, it's about 110, 120 feet down. When you actually drop down, there is tiger sharks everywhere. The entire ship is infested with tiger sharks.
Why are you there?
It's infested with tiger sharks and all other manner of fish. And these tiger sharks have become so accustomed to their current way of life that they will not, it's basically a nest for them. And they won't leave. They also don't give a shit about humans, because the environment that they live in is so populated with fish, because it's essentially become a coral system now, right? That's the reason that they sink ships like that. That they're more used to the fish, and they've been feeding on the massive schools of fish that come in there. It literally, from the time that you get off the boat to the time that you get down to about 60, 70, 80 feet, it is nothing but fish. You are literally swimming through fish like mosquitoes in a swamp. They are everywhere. And the sharks could absolutely care less about you. It is fucking amazing. You can pet them. You can do whatever.
Oh, you're petting tiger sharks? All right.
You can literally, I mean, only one way, because the shark skin's like knives the other way, but you can literally pet them. But as long as you legitimately
you gotta be reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't like walk up to him and be like, "Yo, what up, motherfucker?" Like, it's still
I'm gonna
a
ride
shark,
this one, Colt.
right? Yeah. This is the one, and you get a lasso out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, as long
I'm
as
going
you just,
for it.
as long as you basically completely ignore the sharks, or just like if they're near you, you can definitely touch them. That's kind of a dominance thing that you can show, is like, I don't give a fuck about you, kind of deal. They really aren't going to fuck with you whatsoever. There's not been, the most fascinating thing about that is there's around 50 to 100 tiger sharks that exist around the Aeolus. And if you've never been on a battleship, battleships are
Huge.
they're massive machines.
Yeah. There was in San Diego, when I was in San Diego last, they had like one just off of no, it was San Fran. It was San Fran or San Diego, I can't remember. Whatever. It was in a port. And I'm like looking at this thing, and I'm just like, as we're getting closer, I can't comprehend why the thing, it's just so big. This ship is a huge thing. Like, you're talking about dropping a new ecosystem into a place.
Yeah, it literally creates a new ecosystem. Yeah. It's awesome, man. It really is amazing. And I think that's one of the biggest advances in ocean conservation. Is when we started actually sinking our old ships. There's another one in the Gulf that the same thing as the Aeolus. They sunk it in the wrong spot. This one is the Oriskany, and it is 200 feet down. It's a little deep, so there's not like a whole lot. Like, the cool thing about scuba diving is that if you just want to scuba dive, 30 feet is about as deep as you need to go to really see some really pretty and neat shit. 200 feet is really more of what they call like a technical dive, where you're kind of getting into stuff. You have multiple tanks on you. You're kind of getting into the strategy side of things.
Okay.
Which is something that I really enjoy, but
survival strategy, but in real life. Yeah.
Survival strategy, but in real life, because you can't breathe water. But yeah. The actual sinking of ships, the Oriskany, I implore everyone to go look at the Oriskany dive. Any dive on YouTube of the Oriskany. There's actually a couple where they found great white sharks this is in the Gulf of Mexico. This is by Alabama. This is Pensacola, Florida area. Great white sharks at the Oriskany, because the water is perfect for them. They enjoy cold water, by the way. They're an Arctic fish. What are they, fish? Are great whites a fish?
I don't know.
Can someone in chat Google that? I don't actually know if great whites are considered, or just sharks in general. Anyways,
good question.
They have actually found them in the Gulf of Mexico at the Oriskany, just because of its incredible size, right?
Isn't a great white, isn't shark its own thing?
I believe they're polar bears. Actually, they're polar bears, according to Shred.
They have gills, pretty confirmed reliable fish. Is that the determining factor, Decker? Decker, you would know. You own swangers.
I don't think so, because I mean, even whales have gills.
They are fish. Thanks, prancing ponies. Always coming in right on time.
Okay. Cool. As long as they're fish, that's fine. I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed diving. I don't really have anything else to build on beyond that. I think ocean conservation is amazing, and the strides that we've made in it recently are absolutely. We were actually talking about this at work. They're absolutely fascinating.
Tell me about it. I don't know anything about this. This is your forte. I can tell, but I'm very, very interested about this. How did we not fucking talk about this at all when we touched base the first time? Like, this is my first time hearing that. Colt. Yeah, but what the fuck? Like, you gotta go here, and I'm like, wait, have you been there? Yes, I dove there before.
I actually weight my green screen down with scuba weights, as a matter of fact.
God damn.
Yeah, so anyways,
I know you you even had your taint pierced. How did I know that before you were a scuba diver? Huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest, scuba divers are everywhere. Taint piercings, though, that's one of a kind.
You're not wrong.
So they've come out with a new robot. Like, has everybody Great Pacific Garbage Patch? You guys know what that is? It's like 3 miles wide of just
trash,
human fucking garbage, right?
We're killing the planet.
Well, it's killing the ocean. I wouldn't say the whole planet. The planet will absorb that shit and move on. It may remove humans from the planet, but the planet will move that shit to somewhere that's useful. We may even have plastic trees one day. You never know.
True.
But so this Great Pacific garbage patch, they've actually got, there's a new company, and I don't for the life of me remember their name, but there is a robot that they have started deploying, and this robot is incredibly advanced. It looks like a washboard, like an old washboard. Good job, Shred. Thank you. There's an old washboard on the back of this highly advanced robot, and it's constantly sucking up water. And its whole job is to pull out trash, organize it, pull out the trash, and then head back into port so that somebody can empty it, and then it goes right back to the garbage patch. It's estimated that with 20 of these things, which they cost, and this is completely funded by the public, they cost like $3 million each, something like that. Completely funded by the public, GoFundMe, things like that, conservation societies. The NOAA, I believe, supports like 10 or 15 of them, what have you. With having these robots, it is still suspected somewhere around 100 years to be able to clean up just the garbage patch itself, the patch itself. Here's the shitty part. That patch is the shit that's on the surface.
Right.
That is not dealing with any of the stuff that is actually down in the ocean. And we have, it's super sad. It's super sad.
Well, a lot of it, I mean, to be fair, we had like hundreds of years of people not knowing what the fuck we were doing. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like selfishness and all that. And I like to be really optimistic about it. But like, again, a lot of it's like, I feel like at this point, it's like something's got to fucking happen before we're all like, okay,
yeah,
you know, I can't go outside without my car melting a little bit. You know, like that's a really big problem. I don't know. We're in a really weird spot, especially with like the Amazon fires going on too. And I don't know. Do you know who Italo is? Does that sound familiar at all? Okay, so Italo is one of my one of the people that frequents our or not our, but like the chat here. And they're from Brazil, and they were telling me like they were giving me a bunch of information about all the shady shit the government's doing in order to, it seemed like, cover up the whole Amazon fire thing and like the frequency in which it was happening. Oh, Texan, dude, I'm sorry, man. Here, this is the link.
That's literally the robot, minus the googly eyes. that is literally the robot that they're using for. So advanced. When I say it has for fish, so that if it actually sucks up any kind of fish or anything, it will dump the fish back out into the water. The programming behind those robots is insane. Now they're a little bit more refined because this one looks like it's using a water wheel and some sort of a net to actually trap the trash.
Well, this one's a lot smaller. This is like I think this one's in Boston. This is a Boston one. They've done like
Baltimore,
smaller. Baltimore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're actually releasing these robots. God, I want to say, it's been a minute since I looked at it. I want to say that there's 20, maybe 30 of them in that actual garbage patch, and then literally, I mean, it's there.
Your audio is cutting out. I don't know if it might be Discord specifically. Oh shit. Yeah. Hey Flex, welcome in everybody. Howdly doodly.
I'll turn that down, but you let me know if you start hearing any background shit. Hey!
Flex! Excellent, Flex. Dude, I think your command's actually still in here. Flex? Yeah, it is. Holy shit. Yo, Flex. Everybody follow Flex. Welcome in, everybody. Hope the stream was nice. We're doing our XP Talk Show with ColtDiggity. We're going over, like, we're touching base on ocean life right now. Kind of crazy because I wasn't expecting this conversation, but it's awesome. So Colt is a scuba diver, avid scuba diver, and was just educating us on the Great Garbage Patch in what was the ocean? What part of the ocean?
It's the Pacific
Ocean, and how we're cleaning it up with robots that can differentiate fish and plastic and trash. Kind of nuts. And it'll take about 100 years if we have 20 robots worth $3 million to clean it up.
Hey, we actually just talked about shark diving. Sure have.
Yeah, but welcome in. I'm KonkyTalks 64. Flex was on the show. A while back, dude. It's almost been a month. One of the best endings to a show that I've ever had. Again, like if you guys aren't following Flex, he still has his command here. Go follow him on YouTube, follow him on Twitch. He's a fucking sick dude. I'm gonna borrow a page out of his book too. If you guys have been watching him for a long time, you need to go. Don't worry about it. Totally understandable. You can hit that follow button and we'll catch you when he's not streaming. And maybe you can join the conversation later. But if you want to stick around and get into the topics we have planned tonight, you're more than welcome. And I'd play the raid video, but you know, audio's not working on that, so fuck you. Dude, no problem, Flex, man. Sharks are in fact fish. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was promised mustache, and I cammed through. I cammed, I shid, I farted, I cammed all the time.
Yeah. He's basically got the best mustache on Twitch.
Dude, I don't know. Sequisha's like pretty high up there. That's a big stash that man's got.
I feel like that's like a different style of mustache, though.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like at that point you're pretty much like, are we in a Western?
Yes.
But you know he means business. I mean, fucking regardless of what he's getting ready to do, you know he means business because he's got the stash.
Yeah, mine's like the neighbor. I got the whole Flanders thing going for me, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Howdy doodly, everyone. Howdy doodly. Howdy doodly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god. Totally got thrown off topic, guys. I'm sorry. We were just talking about ocean stuff. Ocean Man, dude. Tell me you listen to Ocean Man a lot, because I do.
The theme. That is the theme for tonight. You know, that song started as a meme, and
it's a good fucking song.
I am so fucking uncultured that you know who Moon OW is?
Yeah.
He's a huge streamer on Twitch. So I had actually never heard that song until I was in his stream one night and everybody was memeing, and the Ocean Man thing came on, and they were all doing like the copy pasta and chat and everything.
Right.
That is a really fucking good song.
It is so good. And it came out
so catchy, dude.
Okay, so you want to know how uncultured I am? I thought that song was about old Greg. And it came out way before then.
Yeah. It's been out. When did it come out?
97.
Whoa. Yeah, way off.
I was 7 years old.
2007.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Holy shit. Yeah.
97. And I was like, yeah, it's about old Greg, isn't it? Like, it made sense to me. Because I love old Greg. I'm like, I can't believe somebody made a song about old Greg. That's crazy.
That's wild. That's wild.
But it's
Holy
not.
Shit.
Oh shit, it's playing on my phone. Sorry. I was like, yeah, 97. Ocean Man, take me by the hand. Take me to the land that you understand.
When I was in the Navy, we threw so much garbage in the ocean. Good. Thank you, Shred.
Literally, it's still happening.
Yeah. I'm 100% certain that's still a thing.
It depressed the fuck out of me because somebody was talking about that on a Reddit thread. I was like, they were like, yeah, I mean, fridges, whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? There's no rules out here, guys. Like,
yeah. Man, they actually went down to the Marianas Trench, and I know people have heard about this because everybody talks about shit that happens with the Marianas Trench because it's so mysterious. It's 7 miles deep in the ocean.
But isn't that like where the what's it called?
Plate tectonics?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
the
where
tectonic plates meet.
Where they meet at. Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
So they actually found like plastic bags and just regular trash down inside the Marianas Trench, and people were like super upset about it. But in today's world, people get super upset about shit and then they try and find someone else to do something about it. They don't actually want to do anything about it themselves.
Right.
And I think that's a huge, just like what you were saying a few minutes ago, that's like the huge stigma is that, you know, I'll start as soon as somebody like comes out and they're like, you know what? This is it. We have to completely change our entire lifestyle. This is it right now. Right. Then it's just going to be a bunch of complaining as far as I'm concerned. Right.
Literally, that's all we do.
Right. Like humans have been on the planet for what, like 10,000 years or so.
Right.
The planet's been here for how long?
Well, we've been on the planet for a lot longer, but in terms of
hundreds. Okay. Well, if you want to go all the way back, I just in the where we stood up and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
Is it
there's
longer than 10,000 years.
I mean,
I'm from the South.
I could educate you a little bit on like some current theories being tossed around about
for sure. The planet
stuff.
itself, though, that had grass on it, has like 1 billion years at least. A couple 100 billion at least.
Lot. I mean,
it's a shitload, right? So the planet doesn't actually give a shit what we do as humans, right?
No.
It will eventually just absorb whether we die or not. It'll just absorb us entirely and then just continue on with itself.
Well, those games that you play are a confirmation of that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You just get to a point where like, yeah, is the world gonna destroy me and then I'm gonna have to start all over again? It's literally civilization. That's what you're fucking playing.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. And I think I've just kind of, after all the climate change talk and all that stuff, I think I've just accepted at this point that at one point in time, either soon or in a little while, human life will no longer be supported on Earth, and that's fine. That's fine.
Well, I think
we did it.
I think, we got pretty far. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. We did great, man. We put a thing up in space. We got all kinds of shit floating around the planet that the planet now has to like figure out how to absorb, and all that. But it will. I mean, either way, at the end of the day, it's going to keep moving on, and we're going to keep being these tiny little specks that just evaporate.
Yeah, I think like I don't know if it'll necessarily get to the point of evaporation, but I do agree something bad is going to happen in order for us to like actually care about the environment. And unfortunately, that's like most likely going to be like a meteor or some major global event or something like that, because it's just going to happen. Like we're just going to lose a city. Like it's gonna be
a huge catastrophe.
It's going to be a huge cataclysmic event, like one of those things.
What's super fucking unfortunate is that is the world that we currently live in, is that we have to have something, because we all have, and I'm fucking guilty of this, right? I'm not saying shit about that, but we all have our phones. Right, like we all have our comfortable way of life, and in order to change things for what we need to do, we would have to change our way of life. But everybody's so complacent in the way that we currently sit, right? And it's too inconvenient to have to change how everything goes, and it's part of the problem is being a consumerist society. But now I feel like we're getting into some other topics, right? But I feel like we could
lead into some of this shit, because like a lot of it has to do with the so like let's do like a brief rundown on human I'm gonna say evolution, but like this will be more of like behavior, I guess. So human behavior and how people have acted has been very consistent in the fact that we have just been building and making and doing for a long time without any sort of understanding of the repercussions of what those things were. And a lot of that has to do with like, and just to point this out, like when we were putting lead in gasoline, and like we had the one scientist who was just like, yo dudes, this is making people crazy. We need to take lead out of all of this shit. And literally everybody was like, no, that's fine. Like until people were jumping out of windows, and the things he was talking about were coming to fruition after years of him going against it.
It's the same thing with lead paint.
Right.
It's the exact same thing with lead paint.
It was the same time period. So like lead being in a lot of consumer products was like a huge issue, right?
Cigarettes are another thing where like we don't know. Like scientists, there's one group of scientists that will always come up with, and they'll be like, check out this new shiny thing. And then there's another group of scientists that, whoa, bro, you shouldn't. Nah, that does not need to go in your butt. Like seriously, 10 years, you're gonna figure out why that should not currently be in your butt. And then everybody's like, no, it's fun, we enjoy it. And then they figure it out, and they're like,
shouldn't have been putting that in my butt, dude.
We're making a lot of money on this. I don't know. I think honestly, So, and they figure out different ways to market it. So, yeah.
I think like the natural progression is within the past 12 years, we've been the most connected we've ever been in society. And like the problems that we're facing are within our own communities and with our own like society and all that shit. But like really the whole internet age and like us getting to know the world around us, we are literally on the like beginning forefront of this shit. Because again, like social media has only been around for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, people were getting their news from primarily like news stations, radio, and newspapers. And now we're like spreading it like wildfire. There's people reporting it, things on Twitter, taking photos. And I mean, there's a lot of like aspects to this, but like determining what's authentic and what's not is now part of the conversation, especially with like the current administration and stuff. And like we're seeing a lot of that stuff on Twitch too. I mean, this could lead into like the authenticity part on Twitch. You know what I mean?
I mean, literally, we're talking about. I mean, it's the same. The way that I've looked at it, Colt stream internet cancer shred. You know what? You're right, but shut up. So, like the telephone game that we all played when we were all in elementary, right? Like one person says a thing, and then by the time it gets to the last person in the circle, it's a completely different, just crazy, like, whose duck have you been having sex with for a month? Like, you know, and then like the beginning of it was my grandmother baked cookies, you know? So it just, and it's the exact same thing with our current news media. And it comes down a lot, I feel like, with the news media, and I use that term very loosely because
you can use your fingers. That's fine.
There's very few people that I consider journalists nowadays, and I can't even really count them on one hand. There's so few of them, right?
Yeah.
Or I could count them on one hand or whatever. It's become so fucked is the best way to put it, because everybody knows if you put this kind of title into it, right, if you add just like a shitload of exclamation points and then like a smiley face or a sad face emoji, then everybody's going to just read the fucking title and they're not ever going to actually read the article. And that is mind-blowing to me, because Reddit is one of the worst. If you get your fucking news from Reddit, every bit of information that you throw at me is completely invalidated. I don't want at all. Right? Because if you read the article's like, man blows up balloon, kills wife. And then you read the article and it's like, this guy made a balloon animal while his wife had a heart attack in the corner. And it's like, that's not
that related?
Yeah, how is that the same thing? Like, what do you mean? And then people just mark that down as fact. And it blows me away how ready to believe things that people get pissed off about. They're so ready to believe things that they're mad about that they just absolutely they have to tell people after that too.
Right.
We live in a very dramatic society, and it's so darn sensational. Exactly. And it ruins the news media. It ruins it, and it ruins fucking journalism as a whole, because there are good journalists out there that are trying. You know, I was what was it actually, to go back to video games, somebody when oh my god, what's his name, the cynical Brit, when he died, people used he's a game journalist. Like, no, I mean, of all the fucking people that we dealt with in our day-to-day, he was the most real currently at his time. He was John Bain is his name. He was the most real as far as being for the consumer. If you have ill words to say towards somebody like John Bain, like, what's the rest of your life like? It's
questionable, like, is what it is.
This dude was really fighting for you, and he even went as far as to have just like what's his name, the Jimquisition guy, Jim Sterling. He's done things that have been so sensational, but also true at the same time, that it has completely changed how games have worked. Path of Exile is one of the most recent ones, right? With Path of Exile, they introduced some new form of loot boxes, and he did a Jimquisition on it, and he brought a whole bunch of attention to these loot boxes that were complete and teetotal bullshit, right? 90% of the internet's population considers Path of Exile to be one of the games that does free to play correctly, just like Warframe does free to play correctly, right? He changed that. That's because of Jim. He would not come right out and fucking say it, but when you have like 2.2 million views on one video for Path of Exile, and then all of a sudden a week later they change everything that they're doing with these loot boxes, I think it's pretty clear exactly what happened. Total Biscuit. That was it.
That was his like online persona,
Yeah. Ugh.
Dude,
We're
yeah.
just
Well,
so ready to believe bullshit.
Well, I mean, again, like, I think honestly, it's just because everything is so new. You know what I mean? Like, it was like news headlines back when they were being published, like in all caps, taking up huge parts of the page, and people are like, oh, I guess I shouldn't drink this milk. You know, like, but now it's like fucking brand deals and shit like that. And it's happening on a much bigger scale, and it's hard to disseminate like what's real and what's not without actually putting in the work and reading it, or just ignoring it altogether. And so like, I don't know, man. It's hard to, I think it's hard to look at all this stuff and like try to stay current, without actually going into the content. And I think that's like honestly one of the biggest opportunities we have as a society, is like we're in this like one of the best times for us to be living in terms of technology and understanding and conversations happening, but everything's like very surface level, even so much so like when like Twitch in the conversation is a really big one, where on the surface level, like if you take things at face value, you're not going to really get far, especially if you're like trying to like promote yourself and like make everything about you, when the whole like core part of this and social media is about the connection with other people. And so like it gets
100%.
misinterpreted to me. Like the misinterpretation for all the bullshit that we see online, I think, comes from a very selfish old school thought process, and that's why it seems so foreign and distant when like you're watching it. And that's why we get fucking commercials and shit about like medications that aren't even needed and like all this other random shit. It's literally just a money grab, and it's like, where's the information and where can I find it? And there's not like a whole lot of sources or direction or unbiased shit to be looking up. You have to take in multiple sources. So how do we become better, you know, like going forward? And I think a lot of it is just having these conversations, dude. Like there are people in here who I'm sure agree to a lot of this stuff, but like if you have friends that you can talk with about like any of this stuff, I think, I don't know, we're in the best time to be doing that. And what you're talking about, like this cancel culture and being upset and like complaining, I think that's the easy route, you know what I mean? But to be objective and like really wonder where these things are coming from and like question your sources and like all of this shit, the stuff that you were taught to do when you were like doing research projects and shit, like science, right? Like all of these critical thinking skills. Yeah. All of these things take a backpedal because not society, but like the tools that give us information teach us to go off of what invokes our emotions. And what even worse, like Twitter and Facebook and all of these platforms that you engage with, they have an algorithm. Most of them have an algorithm to push engagement because that's what gets more money, right? So what you end up having, and Facebook has this problem where like people engage with negative things the most. That makes sense. Like if you see something that you're like, oh, that's nice, you're not going to comment like, that was nice, thank you. Like that shit doesn't happen as much as, you know, like this pisses me off and I'm going to share this and I'm going to be like, if you do this, I don't want to be your friend. Unfriend me. Like there's a lot of
unfriend me, block me on Facebook, blah blah blah.
Comment on this thread and tell me like if you agree with this, and if you do, I'm just gonna. We know we can be friends. I'm like, what the fuck, dude, is happening? Like,
yeah.
How do you declare that to the world? You know,
people can no longer have a differing opinion.
Right.
And I think that's, oh man, that is such a societal problem that the division. And I don't want to get into that portion of things too deep because we can get quite passionate, but the division of society, right, between your middle class, your lower class, and your upper class, what have you, the super wealthy, the division between those has become so great that it creates an infighting, which is exactly what I feel like, you know, if you were part of high society, that is exactly what you would want.
Yeah,
is to have your middle class and your lower class in the middle of a large fighting. And then it's the same concept as like, look at this hand over here, but don't look what's going on here. You know, it's that kind of concept. I know where you're going with it too, like in a certain respect, but I don't believe that, like, I mean, there's things to make that outcome happen, but like we can't, like the society that we live in with the internet and the way it is, like,
I know that exists right now, and there's still portions of that, but right, like, again, dude, the whole conversation thing happening, like the whole politics thing shit we're going through right now in terms of the United States and everybody looking at us and like President of the United States doing all these fucking things. It's like, well, these things have been happening. You know what I mean? Right. But we had one dude who was like, I am just going to tweet whatever I want.
Right.
and like,
right.
Whereas like Obama in the last, like, I'm not saying Obama's a bad guy, but like the administration has some questionable shit, and every administration prior to him, questionable shit up until a less rational person somehow got in there. And now we're like, what have we been doing? It's almost like it's like that dream you were talking about, the one where you're falling and you wake up and you're like,
yeah. No, dude, and you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
But nobody, I mean, it's the age-old saying, you can't see the forest for all the trees.
Right.
It's the exact same concept, you know. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell all of Twitch that I'm a massive Trump supporter. I am majorly in the middle, right? I just want somebody that's not trying to fuck me, okay?
Yes.
Especially in a trade skill as a blue collar worker. As long as you don't fuck me, we can be friends, right? But these are things that, and exactly like I said, these are things that have been happening for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, this son of a bitch is like, yo, we just locked up Consuela. And then people are like, he did what? And they're like, no, not
she was just in my house.
Yeah. The last like 30 presidents have been doing this, and no one's been paying attention.
Right.
That's the problem, is that no one's been paying attention. You've read only the headline, the girth. Right. You need to pay attention to the girth. The girth is what's important.
Well, that's what's happening now, and like you can see the disconnect between like, and I'm trying to be a little bit more optimistic about it because it's really easy to like feed into the we're fucked, mentality.
Right.
That's I don't know. I know it sounds weird, but like I'm not a Trump supporter, but this is the first time in American history that I can recall where like voting and knowing who's where and what's happening and where's our money going has been like in the forefront of every conversation everywhere, regardless of what's going on with President of the United States. And like, there's originally like the whole like Trump thing felt like they're just like banging this fucking gong of, Russia and like all this other shit. And like, again, like I don't know much about this. All I know as somebody who is passively looking at, what we should be looking at is just who's in the places that are important and what the fuck are they doing? Because this one dude doesn't command 320 million people. There are other people that are ingredients for all of these things. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, and the more interesting thing,
Maggles, hi.
You can go ahead and do that if you want to, and we can dive into it in a second.
Yeah. Well, hey. Hey everyone, welcome in. Hi.
We started on Lincoln. Shut up, Shred.
God damn it. Maggles, hi. Welcome in. Folter, hi. Pause up. Welcome in, everybody. This is the XP Talk Show. We're doing an XP Talk Show with ColtDiggity. Fucking awesome, dude. We're actually having a great conversation. I feel like we have topics and shit, but like this kind of like this will happen later. We're talking we're kind of like going all over the place.
Yeah. We're busy.
Yeah, we're busy. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, for everybody who hasn't been in here, I'm KonkyTalks64. This is ColtDiggity. We're having a conversation on the XP Talk Show. I do this talk show every week. I reach out to people who I think would be great in conversation, and then we just talk. And that's what you're seeing right now. Alerts are muted, so I apologize. Nothing like fun or cool happened. But hey, what are you doing? Beer good. What are you giving the subs? Hey, what are you doing? Okay, well maybe I could do something for you.
Beer good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh my god.
Thank you. Beer good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
On behalf of Konky, I would like to thank you. The 1-month sub gifted to Meggles. Thank you. Continue watching for more introverted news talk.
Dude, every time somebody says imagine, all I think of is fucking Pauline. Every time.
Imagine
being an idiot who says imagine.
I retweeted somebody that like had that in their thing, and then I like plugged Olean's channel. I got blocked immediately. I was like, I'm not trying to be toxic, but Olean has conditioned me to think this way every time. Can we get a shout out for Olean, please?
Oh, Olean's the shit.
She's wonderful.
She's one of the best people on this planet.
She's great. Yeah. Speaking of authentic people on Twitch.
For sure.
Meggles, please give Meggles a follow. Jesus Christ. Is Meg still a thing? No, it's not. Damn it. Meggles. Yeah. Please give Meggles a follow. I hope your stream was wonderful. I hope you got really far in Dark Souls 2. Elucid, hi. Yeah, please follow Meggles. She's a goddamn sweetie. Oh yeah, Beer Good. Beer Good. Boop boop boop. Hey Colt, dude, just fucking click a name. Decker's in here.
You don't have to follow me.
Yeah,
we're about to talk about some real controversial shit. So
it's okay.
If you were ready to read just the headline, this is the stream to.
Look at all these people. Go fucking follow them. Click their names. Go over there. Quit being a bitch.
Oh man, out of cups.
Dude, Decker, man. Decker, just for a second, right? When I first started watching your stream, right, you were kind of in your infancy. You didn't really want to talk that much. You had conversations, so on and so forth, and then you played Quantum Break. Guys, I actually canceled my streams for that entire week for reasons that I posted in my Discord. But it was actually just because I was so enthralled by the way that Decker played the game Quantum Break that I needed more from it. It was like binge watching a TV show. I had to see it, right? And now he's playing Control. So you need to follow Decker. Decker is badass, dude, and he's fucking hilarious without even like trying to be hilarious. He's fucking hilarious. It kills me. Yeah, dude, that's my rant on Decker for a second.
Oh, dude, rightfully so. Rightfully so. You hate to see it. I kept saying that like he was playing on his birthday, recent birthday for Decker too. But I've just been. Yeah. I was at work and I said that, and somebody was like, "What?"
You hate to see it.
I love when I pick up mannerisms from people. It's like when I honestly, like, as somebody, so like just a little background on me. I went to school for animation, and one of my favorite things about the degree, even though I don't necessarily use it as much, is I pick up on people's unique mannerisms and movements and like facial shit, and like whenever I compliment them on that, like my wife, for example, who's extremely expressive, when we were dating, she thought I was making fun of her, and I was like, listen, you need to understand, like, these things are I'm making, like, it's making a character for me, and it's amazing. Right. I love it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you guys. Everyone go follow Decker and Meggles. Everybody that's been linked in chat. I lost my train of thought entirely. We got like on a positive thing.
Yeah, we did. We were talking about such shit too.
Yeah. I think it was just, we were talking about how like determining like how you would, wait, no. Yeah, just
no.
Go ahead.
How we had basically found that not only, you know, while the Trump thing has been hugely shocking to everybody, right? I think it's the first time I've actually said Trump on Twitch, but while the Trump thing has been just hugely, should I say bigly? Has been bigly shocking. Yeah, it's been bigly and huge shocking to just everybody in all of the United States and the rest of the world, because like you said, everybody's watching us.
Literally, they made a fucking baby blimp for that guy. Yeah.
They don't even want to let him in certain countries. But the deal is like, just like what you were saying, he's I mean, I'm not like, dear God, give me more Trump kind of thing. You know, I actually really hope that next year that we can come together as a nation.
Hopefully sooner.
You know, yeah, and do something about happening currently. But the deal is that even if we do something about Trump, the fact of the matter is that the things that we're all so upset about are things that have been going on for a very long time. So it's not just the fact that we need to get rid of the man that has shown us all of this. It's really more of an issue. It's a societal problem. I mean, it goes right back to a societal problem. We have so many things,
right?
We have so many things that are happening behind the curtains that keep our life easy and simple, and the way that things are currently, that if it's not incredibly concerning to you, it should be something that you think about daily.
100%.
It really should.
Yeah. And
as terrible as that sounds.
Right, that's a good point. Like, should be more worried about the people who voted for him. Yeah, but like, you need to understand too, like, I don't know. I think about the Dave Chappelle skit every single time, like his Netflix specials, where like he's talking about how when he went to the voting booth, he saw like poor white people and who were like, Trump's gonna fix everything, and he's like, they don't know that rich white people call the poor white people trash. And like there's a huge problem that we're fucking problem that we have, where we feel like we're all separated and like we're divided by party, and like, dude, I'll vote for whoever as long as like they are going to do a good job representing the American people and what they want and what's going to be good for society. And you're not going to find that in a politician. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very rare occurrence where you're going to be like, oh yeah, you seem like a pretty reasonable guy, and then you go into the office and you're like a completely different person. Well, that's because it's more than just one fucking person making these decisions. You know what I mean? You think Obama wanted to like get, and I remember this too, where he was like expressing concern about Syria, and everybody was like, fuck no, dude, what are you doing? I remember that. I was like, is this the same person that we like elected? Was he really what's like, that can't be what is happening. And you could sense something was off. Like there I don't think like you couldn't sell that shit, and if he couldn't sell it, you know what I mean?
And another thing, like Syria,
that's huge.
That's a
different
hornet's
thing.
nest.
Yeah.
Syria's and if you're in Syria watching this on a VOD, that is a hornet's nest of a country. And to be perfectly frank with you, right, like we moved into that country to assist and to help out with the rebellion that was happening. I'm trying to say it the most non-biased way whatsoever, but if we moved into that country, that, oh my god, I can't even say it, dude. That is a resource hog of a country, and I'm so sorry that is currently happening to your country, and I am also so sorry that we pulled out of it. But to be 100% honest, we had to, kind of deal. And it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
We fucked it up real bad. We did like a regime change war that we like, dude, regime change wars are a huge fucking problem.
All of it. Man, we fucked up all of it.
We fucked it up.
The entire Middle East.
Poor decision.
We had no right being in any of those countries whatsoever. And on behalf of the American people, I apologize. We had no reason going over there. It was completely different from what we experience on a day-to-day, and we fucking destroyed it, and it's awful.
Definitely.
But I'm hoping that us moving the fuck out of it, of course, now you get into Russia now, because Russia's got its hands all kinds of in it,
right?
And that's totally different topic, because it's a different government style and everything. We just really just shouldn't have. We just really should have. Remember when Tehran was beautiful? Remember when fucking Saudi Arabia was a beautiful, Pakistan was a beautiful place, Iran, Iraq were beautiful places, and we have fucking, and the only
it's all regime.
The only reason, it is. The only reason that Morocco still exists as a bastion of just great Middle Eastern whatever, right, is because we can't buy for that tourism.
You gotta, your audio cut out like entirely for that majority of that sentence.
Son of a bitch, Discord. The only reason that Morocco has not been completely is because everybody, until the war that we had with fake weapons of mass destruction, WMDs or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
No one or Iran or any of that stuff, right? And then we went in and we just fucked it all up. We just fucked it all up. And it's
it's like you're
very
getting
sad.
censored. It's fucking weird. I think it's when you pick up speed in your speech.
Huh.
I don't know what's happening. NSA.
Discord's upset.
I'm gonna
with
text
me.
my FBI agent right now.
Yeah. My personal FBI agent does not think.
Checked in on me yesterday. He's like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "Oh."
Yeah. He checked in on me too. He was like, "Why are you looking at BSM stuff? That's not you." So
When are you getting into this?
weird. Yeah.
No, I think like a lot of it again, like I mean, just to bring it back to the core. I know we can go off into a lot of tangents about like what we should and shouldn't be doing, but essentially this whole Trump administration thing, the political climate we're in right now, this is the first time in a long time where complacency has been shaken to its core, and a lot of it has to do with the internet and sharing information and engaging in conversation. Like I can't recall a time, so many times like in my past where like friends and family were like, well, I don't talk about politics because like I'm not a political person. And I'm like, you don't, like, I remember being that person and how fucking naive and stupid that was, because you are literally letting people do whatever they want and shape a society in the image that they're looking to create without any sort of understanding of what is needed from society, right?
You're not adding ideas to their head, right? Like you're not
I just think of the
helping
Matrix
to
every
shape
time.
them. Yeah, you're actually what Fright Attendant just said, ignorance is bliss. You're literally allowing them to just shape their own society. Right. Because it's the people that have the strongest political opinions that are like, oh, I don't actually discuss politics. And it's like, okay, well, you're actually the fucking problem.
Right.
So if I could get you to just say some words here on this stand, that would be great.
Would you kindly participate with everyone?
Write it down. Yeah. Since this affects all of us, if you could just write something down for me that we could have somebody else read. You just need to just write it down. Is all I need, right? We can have Robin Williams or something stand on stage and tell everyone about it, but I need you to just write it on a piece of paper for him, please, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. What are your ideas?
Please clap. Yeah. Dude, it's a really fucking weird spot we're in. But I think a lot of it, again, like it just comes, it to me, it just seems like a whole lot of inexperience of handling information and direction. And like, dude, we didn't have a fucking politics class or like economics or like becoming an adult or dealing with your emotions. All of that shit was just kind of like, we're learning about that now. And I think like a lot of it again has to do with the whole internet aspect of things. Like I know myself better than I think I could have known myself if I was my parents, because I can tell they're the same fucking people. You know what I mean? Like there's no growth, there's no progress, there's no self-reflection, there's no understanding, there's no like the mentality of the people in the past was like, the past is the past and you are here now. It's like, do you understand the ingredients for the past? Like make everything you are now? Like, do you get that? Do you understand that you don't just like forget it? It's just you carry it with you and you probably don't even know it's this fucking thing on your back. You know what I mean? Like
that's the reason that we have history classes.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right. But it's never conveyed.
So bad.
Yeah, it's never conveyed like that. So when you're dealing with like an ignorant person, and worse, a willingly ignorant person, it's frustrating as all fuck. So like, how do you go about having these conversations with people? And I think a lot of it has to do with just like, again, conversations and sharing opinions with friends, and not just limiting it to like 240 characters on Twitter and being like,
oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. And that's another big thing is that actually what Clownstein brought up, you know, I know he put a lol emoji. He said, I don't get it. Most people's politics are about hating the other side. Right. That's actually a massive ingredient to the problem, is that people as a whole, just the general populace, has forgotten via reading only the fucking headline. They have forgotten how to have an actual conversation about something, right? We've all forgotten how to just like, if a motherfucker comes up to you and he's like, man, I like it when I take my gun and I shoot other people. And then nobody has ever just sat down with that dude and been like, whoa, hang on a second. Instead, they're incredibly aggressive and they're like, whoa, motherfucker, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that goes into a fucking mental illness part of things,
Right.
and it just all compounds because, again, like you said, we've just become complacent with how these things are, and
Right.
it interferes our life far too much if we were to say anything that fucks with the status quo.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I think, I mean, I don't know if it's fucking with the status quo is necessarily the issue. I think that could be a factor for a lot of it. But like you said, like we keep coming back to is it's like the comfortableness of complacency. Like you just have this default mental pathway of doing a certain thing and there's no risk in it. So
right.
You're not risking anything by doing it. So like, why would you stress yourself out? Or like,
Exactly.
somebody said something to me, or I saw this of course I saw it on Twitter, but it was all about like, I don't do this because it makes me uncomfortable. It's like, I understand like certain things, right? But if you are willingly ignoring a weakness that you have, you're essentially like not rounding yourself out properly. And a lot of that,
For sure.
I think, like is just how people handle themselves. And like emotionally too, like, and I say this all the time, we've talked about it so many times on the show here, but like we have this device that gives us access to the world and a whole bunch of people who don't know how to manage their emotions. A lot of it is just like, because they're imitating each other. And when you said, you brought this up earlier, it's just regurgitation of what they see and what they think is acceptable. That's why like memes get shared and they're viral, and like the divide you're talking about, I think, is really just tribalism, right?
Oh, 100%.
And we grew up like that, like that,
right?
Like not even grew up. Sorry, not just us, but like human beings, like packs of 150 people, right? They tribalism is something that's so deeply inherent in our society and like how we function. Like we depend on it in order to survive. So without the identity of a group, it's almost like we are lost and we have no what's it fucking called? I'm trying to say it. Something with a P. Purpose. We have no purpose. Why is that word so hard? We have no poo-poo.
People have forgotten how to just be themselves.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think they know. I don't think they know how to do it. You know what I mean? And Twitch is a really weird spot to me because like
Twitch
you
like you. That's a whole different.
And I'm gonna suck a few dicks right here metaphorically, but like you, the Decker, Meggles, Dan Couve, Etwert, like these people that I love watching and seeing, they are becoming more themselves as they progress on the platform. And when I say progress, like progress to me is just I see improvement, right? Regardless of whether or not it has to do with like monetary or whatever it is. It's just I see the person becoming better. And a lot of that is, I mean, you're staring at yourself in a camera, right? And so like, how do you have people perceiving you? Well, you go off of the lens of what you think people want to see, or you just kind of go forward in the best way that you know how to do it and fuck the perspective of everyone else. And you trust the people that you have close to you, you know?
For sure.
And nobody has that, dude. Like nobody fucking has that.
There is Twitch. Twitch is a very interesting I don't even know how to say it. It's a super interesting place, right? And if you're just a viewer, or even, I mean, not even.
You're cutting out again real bad.
Damn it. There's some viewers that get incredibly involved with the communities that they're a part of, you know. Twitch is a very unusual place. It's a very, very strange place. And I completely understand what you mean by someone growing on the platform, because it starts as like, how do I figure this thing out? Like, right. Like, I've always been playing video games. From my perspective, right. I've always been playing video games my entire life. I've always had, I lived with a very good friend of mine who's done all of my tattoos. I lived with him for a very long time. And anytime that I was playing a game, he would always watch me play the game. This was before I even knew that Twitch was even a thing. He would always watch me play games. And once we actually split from each other, he moved out and moved up, kind of deal. it was like a weird disconnect because I'm a very introverted. I very much so enjoy my personal space and all that, but I also, just like what we're doing here tonight, I very enjoy just a good conversation between people, right? And so moving on to Twitch was just kind of a natural progression from what I was already doing.
Yeah.
And then, but there's always that fucking A, it's new people kind of thing, you know, where you're super like, you know, who are these people? You know, like a bunch of trolls. You know, you have your pre-exposure to the internet already figured out that you
who do I trust? Yeah,
exactly. Who do I trust? Kind of thing, you know. And actually, Rotten Pappy. So when I first started on Twitch, I was a part of a Twitch team, which we all know today as your Royale communities or your follow for follow communities. And one of those, because I didn't know any better, right? I was brand new. I had literally been streaming for about a week, and I had been introduced to Team MZ, and we did a massive Team MZ raid with like, I think it was like 75 or 100 people, something like that. And we raided into a channel, Rotten Pappy's channel, as a matter of fact. Raided into her channel, and no one stuck around. It was the craziest shit to me because I didn't know anything about it. Like, I had, at that point in my career on Twitch, I had basically just like watched Twitch, and I had found streamers that I kind of enjoyed, like ItMeJP and Destiny, streamers, like huge fucking streamers with 10, 15,000 viewers kind of deal. And then we pop into Rotten Pappy's channel, and she has 5 people in there, you know, and I was like, this is interesting, you know, and there was a bunch of us all in there, and everybody talked for a few minutes, and she was crazy fucking nervous, you know, you could tell she got super red-faced and everything, and then the rest of the raid kind of just left and moved on to the next thing. And so then there was like 6 of us, like 5 people that were already there, and then there was, right, and I just kind of hung around, and I was like, this is actually a really good stream. She was playing Skyrim, and I was like, this is actually a really cool stream, you know, and me and her ended up talking for probably the rest of the day, and we literally basically just kind of followed around each other, and we ended up eventually both Team MZ all together, and we started like doing kind of our own networking thing where we were just branching out. She had her interests, I had my interests, and we were just meeting different people and bringing those different people into these her community, essentially, to be honest with you, you know, the way that it sits now, kind of bringing everybody her community. And Twitch is a very, very fucking interesting place in the way that it works, and it's genuine people that find genuine human beings, and then everybody else gets left behind, and they all fall into those follow for follow things that you know are not going to last.
Well, I actually, like, I talked about this recently because there was this really weird channel that I had got brought into because I was doing like a team meeting. I'm part of the Lost in the Sauce team, and we do like admin meetings to like discuss topics and stuff. And somebody messaged me from the team and was like, "Hey, have you seen this stream before?" Blah blah blah. And I punch it in, and I'll say their name. Don't follow them. But it's Godvec, and he owns a bunch of Twitter accounts related to like Twitch in general, and he uses the Twitch logos in like all of his things, which is super not okay. Like he uses, like he says he's not affiliated with Twitch, but he uses the glitch logo in like his the Twitter profiles, and they're all centered around his stream. And then he asks people to like put Team Godvec in their title, and then they enter the stream, and they all literally
Twitch Online.
Yeah.
Twitch Online. Yeah.
And
okay.
I was sitting in this channel, and I was like, literally nobody knows what's happening right now. They don't understand that this is all about him. Like, regardless of, and he was just doing spin wheel after spin wheel, hanging out on Twitter, RTing, and then hashtagging, you know, his own name all over their Twitch handles. And I'm like, do you guys not understand that this is just a person taking advantage of you? And like that is the end goal. Like he may, and I try to assume positive intent. You know what I mean? Like, love and positivity and community, like all that shit, but these are generic words, and without specific examples of how you're doing it, you are literally doing nothing to benefit anyone besides yourself. And so like, I don't know, man, it was so weird to see. And so what I had summarized it to was like, there is a vast spectrum of people who exist on this platform, a lot of people who don't know how to use it, and the very inexperienced go to these communities because it's so saturated and so hard to grow. They don't know where to start. So why not start with a community that already exists and that will welcome you in with open arms and let you talk about yourself the whole time. And then what it does, in my opinion, is, and again, I'm not a fucking expert, but this is just me going off of human behavior, because I also used to be a selfish asshole when I was younger. It happens at different periods of people's lives, okay? You can be a selfish asshole at any time, but there are ingredients to making you a selfish asshole. And a lot of that happens from the false expectation that you learn from other people on how to behave. So the negative behaviors that we're going to see in the next couple weeks on quote unquote streamer Twitter about like, don't go in somebody's channel and post your link. Like everybody fucking talks about all the goddamn time, the shit that we all know. It's because of these communities that permit that terrible behavior. And so like what ends up happening is this outward way of thinking is it's strictly they only see from their eyes, and they proceed into the world looking for people to benefit them, because that is the initial contact and community and behavior they learned from a streamer like Godvec. And I was like so flabbergasted. I couldn't, and you know what it's like to raise a hand and be like, excuse me, I have a question, in a room full of people who are already indoctrinated. It doesn't work. It's like the Geth. Everybody like fucking knows, you know, like that's not the MO. Get the fuck out, you know?
Yeah. Dude, man. And it is one of the worst cultures, but I will say that the way that operates, right, is like the follow for follow and all that kind of stuff. The ones, I don't really know the best way to say this, but the ones that are not,
you're cutting out real bad.
God damn it.
Is it your, it's got to be your noise gate? Yeah.
It's got to be Discord. No, the noise gates.
Well, I think there's a cap. Like, do you have a mixer set up on Discord? Like, are you using a mixer?
Here, how does that, is that?
Hold on one second.
Turn that up.
So in the voice and video chat settings, if you have echo cancellation or noise suppression or automatic gain control turned on, you're gonna be fucking yourself. Do you have that turned on?
I don't think so. Let me look. What is it called? Echo cancellation? No.
Yeah. So go to user settings, go to voice and video, and then all three, echo cancellation, noise suppression, automatic gain control, should be turned off. Done? Damn it. Speak slower.
I'm so excited though.
I know. I don't know why it's cutting me out. I have no idea.
All right. So look. So the deal with follow community. Speak more dumb. Follow for follow, not good. Being a good. All right. So done. No. It's the authenticity, like we were, authenticity of people will always like bear its fruit, I guess would be the best way to put it. Is it still doing it?
Yeah, a little bit.
God fucking damn it. Man, I could turn the gain up more, but I'm scared about it.
I mean, I've got you capped, and Discord's my own volume. So it's not that we can't hear you, you're just cutting out. I have no idea why that's happening.
I've got like 18 things that...
Now I can't hear you at all.
What?
Oh, there you go. I heard that. But you were like...
What the
fuck? As soon as you said like something like a little bit quiet, it was just like, nope, yeah, that's not happening.
What the fuck is going on? Okay, Discord's lighting up, like it's showing.
Yeah, maybe here. Let's let me end the call and then let me end the call and then we'll do it again.
For sure,
okay?
For sure. How you doing?
Hi. Okay.
Is everything better?
I don't know.
Or is it the exact same? If I
We'll
was
figure it
continuing
out.
to make sentences, would that just get worse and worse?
Yeah, it's okay. So
Peaking.
it's peaking and then it's shutting you down.
I actually see it. Yeah. It actually just cut me out. It's Discord censoring.
Yeah, Discord doesn't give a fuck about you, Dol.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
God.
All right, look. I've turned the noise gate off. Mechanical noise gate is completely.
And it still cuts you off.
What the fuck?
Let me make sure I don't have a
CFBI.
filter on you. Yeah, I don't have any audio filters on you. I'm not doing it, Cubos. I swear to God. I would never do that prank. It would make me feel like such an asshole. That's something Shred Guy would do, 100% though.
Absolutely, yeah, he's a.
It censored you when he said that. Absolutely, he's a shit.
He's a human. All right, this is better. No,
You can see it. Yeah, it's cutting out.
I get. And there's no noise.
It's
I don't.
definitely something like, I don't know how to explain it, but as soon as you get up like up to a certain volume, when your mic is peaking, it's cutting off. Do this. So in the sound settings of your computer, go to your like app and volume stuff, like open sound settings or whatever, and then go to sound control panel. Go to your recording devices and see if your microphone audio is like, your microphone is set all the way up, because it might be that if your chat mic is at 100, I know like if it's peaking enough, it just shuts off.
How does that?
I can't hear you.
Fuck. Fuck.
So you know how like you've got like playback and recording. So right click your mic, go to properties, then go to levels, and try turning your chat mic level down to like 90 or something.
Wait, in the standard in Windows?
In Windows, yeah. Because the only thing I can think
don't
of
actually
is,
know where that's at.
okay, if you right click the speaker in the bottom right corner,
Yeah.
you should have an option for sound.
I'm in that.
Okay.
I'm in the sound options. I have output, input.
Okay. Look to the right. You see sound control panel under related settings.
Yeah.
Click that, and then like a little window will pop up. Okay. Now go to recording and find your microphone in this.
Yeah.
Right click that, hit properties, then go to levels. And then try changing your chat mic volume down like 10 points. Should be at 100 right now, but
It's actually at 51.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's weird. See, I can hear you just fine, but as
Yeah.
soon as like you get to a certain decibel, it cuts off.
What is weird though, actually, let me try this. Good old live
Troubleshooting. Welcome in, everybody.
Disable that.
I am humbled that you're all hanging out with us still. Thank you guys so much for chilling with us. Again, if you're not following Colt, bam. Exclamation point Colt in the chat brings up his Twitch. Please go give ColtDiggity a follow. Right now, we're just trying to figure out some mic stuff. You get it? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh god, I think I just lost everything.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
What?
You can't hear me? Hello? What happened?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Man, I can't hear a motherfucking word you're saying.
Oh no.
I blame Windows.
Blame Windows, dude. What did you change?
What happened?
Oh no. You may
It's
need
all
to
still
restart
set.
Discord.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, it's me. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Oh my god, it's so exciting to be on the Exp Talk Show. Oh man, I didn't expect to be here. Wow, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I hope life's been treating you well. Not entirely sure like what you're gonna be doing this weekend. You got any plans?
Yeah, I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, so we're hanging out, you know, maybe get a few drinks with the homies. There's a swimming pool party sometime tomorrow. Gonna go do a little bit of drinking, grab some brunch. Yeah, it's exciting, you know.
Wow, it's that sounds great. That sounds great. Good stuff. I like it all. Thank you guys so much for being so patient. Pasty Konky, that's me, yeah. Pasty. Colt's restarting Discord right now. See if you got it.
Hello? ColtDiggity. Howdy doodly.
Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, you sound great.
Awesome.
What?
Did you lose me?
No. You're still good. I have no idea what I did.
Yeah, neither do I. You sound great too. You're not cutting out.
Okay. Still not? Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
can see it. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Now, what were we talking about?
We were talking about authenticity on Twitch.
Yeah.
And the last thing we talked about was
go into random streamers' chats that are way bigger than you and just tell people to follow you and get banned in their chat, but you'll get viewers.
But
Yeah,
basically what
that's
we were talking about was like not toxic, but like streaming communities that set the improper expectation of what behaviors will get you followers, friends, network connections, all of that stuff. And yeah, I used a specific example and explained like why those sort of communities sort of reward the shitty behaviors and cause people to go forth and like only think outwardly. But again, it has to do with just like, I mean, what for you, when did you start figuring out like what you liked about the platform and all of that? Was it just like, was Rotten Poppies like that was the that was like your moment where you were like, oh shit, I think I get this?
Pappy was actually my first experience with a genuine human being on Twitch.
Wow.
Other than like your big streamers, because people like KonkyTalks, JP, oh my god, who's someone? Oh my god, Bike Man. Like I know I talk about Bike Man a lot in my chat, but like literally, it's people like that are just, they're genuine. Literally, they're just human beings that are just playing a video game on the internet. They're not trying to be this huge spectacle like Dr. Disrespect or anything. Bike Man doesn't even use a camera. He just, you know, he looks at chat every now and again. He tells chat like, hey, yeah, you know, good job, or hey, chat, shut the fuck up, you know, so on and so forth. Pappy, as far as like in a I don't want to say small streamer because Pappy's much larger now, but in a more confined community, I would say.
Yeah. Close knit.
Pappy is more like having a conversation with a friend of yours.
Exactly.
Right. And that reminds me a lot more of like what I would prefer out of enjoying a stream, right? Is physically enjoying the company of someone else and just having these real conversations, just like what me and you are doing right now. You know, just having these real conversations, these actual conversations about whatever. It doesn't have to have any specific topic or anything like that.
No, it's just enjoying the company that you have and engaging in conversation and discussion. Because
Exactly.
like we don't do that on a regular
comfy.
basis, you know?
Yeah.
Cody,
exactly.
Cody, is that your name? Cody TV. My friend is receiving harassing messages thanks to you. I don't know what you're talking about because I don't talk shit about anybody really. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't talk to shit. Yeah, even what I said previously. If you're talking about Godvec like that, I simply posed a question on Twitter. All I said was, "What do you think about this?" And people answered. And that was it. I wasn't like, all caps, this is toxic community. Ban this from the channel, you piece of shit.
I hope you die.
I never did that. I never did any
Right.
of that.
Until
You know,
just
I don't.
Now
yeah.
he's done it.
Well, it's just I never
That's
would do that.
actually, That's actually a troll account. I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay, good to know.
I wouldn't bother with it. But no, that is actually
I like
inherent-
engaging with trolls, dude. It's like
For
I need
sure.
it's not even like it's just a curiosity thing cuz like I really
yeah.
I don't know. I like
There's a
talking.
fundamental issue on where they came from in life that causes them to be the way that they are.
I don't think so. I think honestly like when it comes down to I mean they're people. You know what I mean? They're people behind the keyboard. There are ingredients to making an asshole. You know what I mean? Not besides like, you know,
For sure.
two people
It's the
having
anonymity
sex
of
and
the
then like
internet.
borning a person and then there's a booty hole. But I'm talking about like the metaphorical asshole, like the people, right? And
For sure.
why did I over explain that?
I don't
And
know. Good explanation though. Good. That was good.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I like to get to know the asshole. Like, what are the ingredients for that? And like, if they are unwilling to have a discussion, then it's like, okay, well, now you have to go because you're not even willing to speak with me about it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so like authenticity on Twitch. So Poppy was the first authentic person you had encountered, and that was like your first taste of like, oh, is this what people are supposed to be like doing on here? And then you were
Right.
like inspired to go forth even more on your stream then, right?
Right. Yeah, I actually about the same week that I had actually began to interact with Pappy that I kind of just started to apply some of the fundamentals, not even really apply the fundamentals, but just be more of myself on Twitch instead of trying to be kind of this stage character that's not really me.
Well, I mean,
on Twitch and not try to be involved in. I saw very quickly the follow for follow mentality, and at first it made sense to me, and then after a little while, I was like, oh wait, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to just have all these followers, because if you have you know fucking 20,000 followers, but you have 11 viewers, right, and 2 of them are Commander Root and that other bot that's in everyone's channel.
I Commander Root.
Yeah, but hey, shout out to Commander Root, most hours in my channel. But it doesn't make any sense because you're not actually building anything. That's not how even something to even forego Twitch, just social media in general. That's not how any of this works, right? Like it's that old fucking commercial. That's not how any of this works. It's completely different. It's about building a genuine connection with the human beings that you're wanting to interact with.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons, you know, and we won't dive into this just yet if you don't want to, but that was one of the reasons that I moved into the strategy game community, was that I had a lot more in common with people in the strategy game community than I did in the communities with the games that I was currently playing. Because a lot of people that had been around my channel since the beginning remembered that I played Monster Hunter World. And I love Monster Hunter World, and Monster Hunter World's about to have a huge update called Iceborne that I will be going back to, right? But if you look on any Twitch statistics website, I believe next to Oxygen Not Included, Monster Hunter World is my most played game that I've ever had, right? And I had no viewership with that whatsoever because I didn't connect with any of those people in that community. It wasn't a fault necessarily of how saturated the category was or anything like that. It was more so just the fact that I was trying to put on sort of a face and sort of a show for who I was, right? Compared to what I actually wanted to do, which was play strategy games, right? And it was kind of a moment where I had actually quit. I hope he's whispering in my ear. I want him to more and more. I had actually give me a lick. So I had actually almost quit streaming entirely for a very long time. Last August. Last August.
I'm sorry.
No,
like
you're perfect.
You know
this is great.
The green screen, like I know you talk about how small you are all the time. Like the way I frame this is I'm giant. So I can hold you in my hand.
Yeah.
My little boy over here.
For a little boy. Hey. Come here. Come give Pop a kiss.
Sorry.
So
Wait, hold on. I can do it again one more time. The mama bird in him.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mama Bird, me. I haven't eaten all day. Oh God, we matched up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the comedic content I wanted. Thank you.
This is what everyone's looking for in real life. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So that was what like kind of made me move into strategy games, was just more so trying to just be me, essentially, and not trying to fuck around with trying to hype up the stream and all that. I don't even post on Twitter. I really don't. I post on Twitter.
You followed me today, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, he's got a Twitter. I forgot I friend requested it.
Yeah. I don't do Twitter. I don't do anything on YouTube. None of it. And people tell me constantly, like, you've got to start doing YouTube, blah blah blah. Like, I'm not gonna start doing YouTube because my platform is Twitch.
Well, I know your platform is Twitch, but like, dude, revisiting the videos that you would do, like, for explaining Oxygen Not Included and all that, like, it's
For sure.
fucking fascinating. Like, as somebody who doesn't even like watch for the game itself, when you're explaining it, it's fascinating to me. Like, I don't know, dude. For me, like, Twitch, and I don't want to take over the conversation, obviously, but
No.
you are so outside of my comfort zone in games. Like, I don't fucking play those games at all. Like, at all. I don't play strategy games. I am not good at that.
You should.
100%. I should.
There's
I agree.
that you should give a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
should at least give
it's
them a
not that I
shot.
don't agree with you. It's just that I don't have the fucking time. And if I was to get into it, like, that is an entirely new thing that I have to learn and dedicate a lot of time to get to know. And, like, I feel like it will hinder. Like, I only have the bandwidth for so much, dude. And when there is a lull enough, like, I will totally take up a recommendation. Like, Oxygen Not Included sounds like a fucking awesome game, and I like watching that one a lot. So it's like, that would probably be my first one if I was gonna get into it. The closest I've got into those sort of games was Don't Starve Together, and I'm looking for somebody to do a stream with, by the way. So.
For sure. Yeah. So Don't Starve is awesome. I don't know that Oxygen Not Included would be the game. I know, see, and Oxygen Not Included does a phenomenal job of being like just kind of this heartfelt introduction to these. Oxygen Not Included may be one of the most complicated games on the market next to something like Factorio. It is an incredibly, because everybody can build a colony. Like, everybody can get food, everybody can get water, everybody can get, oxygen going, right? But it's always finite. And so the idea behind the Oxygen Not Included is that you need, which, if you don't know, Oxygen Not Included is basically the main game that I play on my channel. But Oxygen Not Included is essentially a game about stability. Right, it gives you X amount of resources and it gives you X amount of problems, and you have to use X amount of resources to solve X amount of problems. But if you're clever enough, then you can use X amount of resources to solve all these problems and then grow beyond that to reach a point where your colony is so stable that you can unpause it and go to work for 10 hours and come back and your colony is still thriving.
Yeah,
right?
So like what you're talking about is, and this is just my question to pose for this. So, like, in order to get to that stage, I'd imagine it requires a lot of failure and hours to get to the understanding of, like, the ecosystem of that, right?
Easily, yeah.
That's what gets my dick hard. I really like roguelikes because of that, because it's all failure, reset, everything's brand new, learn this again. What does this item do? Oh, I remember. Like, but it's exponentially bigger because you're dealing with a fucking universe and ingredients that are specific for everything. Like, when you were going over the timing of the geysers that produce was it methane?
Natural gas.
Natural gas for the generators to produce oxygen, and then, like, but that you have the timing down so that they would activate at the same time like you had a backup generator for coal, and then by the time that was done, the geysers would reset, and then you would continue on producing oxygen. And I was just like, you did not just fucking figure this out without fucking up a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That and also going through, there's another, and this goes back to YouTube. There's another guy on YouTube. His name's Brothgar, and he has basically done every experiment that every single Twitch streamer that currently streams Oxygen Unincluded. He, for whatever reason, taught us all how to play the game, and we don't know where this guy came from. Right? He's a myth to most. He's kind of a unicorn in the gaming circles, but this guy knows everything about Oxygen Not Included. He's probably got 20,000 hours in it, and I doubt that he does anything else other than stand in front of his computer and plays this game. But he literally taught us all of it. But like what KonkyTalks was just saying, what I basically have is you have to diversify power inside of the game itself. And so you have so many different sources, whether you're producing hydrogen gas or you're producing natural gas, so on and so forth, and you convert that all into power. It was actually a lesson through Brothgar on how to do that, is by basically laying out your batteries so that each battery activates individually to draw on a certain source of power before the next one picks it up if it runs out entirely. And it's literally, and the deal with Brothgar though, and he's working on this a lot, but he's super inaccessible to a brand new person because he does these super advanced experiments that are just like, I don't know.
How you do that?
Well, yeah, you might as well have just
He's on a different
mercury to make a taco, you know, like it doesn't make any sense to me.
You're talking about a dude who's extremely experienced in the game. So like,
yeah,
it's essentially like, I don't know how to explain it. He's like rewritten what you would understand the fundamental physics of how something works. It's like the Matrix, like it's like Morpheus in the Matrix, or the One, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Like it's just so you wouldn't understand unless you are the One, right? You only do if you know, right?
And then once the important part though is that like once it actually clicks in your head for how to play these games, then it's a very relaxing experience, because I have a lot of people that have come into my channel, because that's mostly what I play is strategy and simulation games, and they'll come into my channel and they make jokes that I get off work and I just go right back to work because I play these management games and things like that, and it's 100% accurate. But to me, it's so much more relaxing and satisfying to sit down and you start, you know, from humble beginnings and then create a massive empire,
right?
Kind of deal, you know. And
that makes sense. You're building something. There's like a
right
inherent thing about that's like part of our humanity is doing that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is a very satisfying way to do things, and the fact that, you know, and I said this earlier. What's really funny is like when I started streaming, and this goes right back to the authenticity stuff. When I started streaming on Twitch, I did not play any strategy games whatsoever. I played Elder Scrolls Online, a little bit of EVE Online. I purposefully avoided strategy games altogether. Like I did not want to play them because there wasn't, in my eyes, there was no community on Twitch for strategy games, you know, whatsoever. But it was really just the fact that I had not dug deep enough. And I started playing, I actually picked up Oxygen Not Included is what broke this cycle for me. I picked up Oxygen Not Included for like, I don't know, $10 or something, right? And I've got almost 800 hours in it now. And when I started playing it, I noticed that I started getting a lot more like-minded people in my chat instead of just like your one-offs that would come in and they'd be like, hey, what's going on? You know, blah, blah, blah. And then move on with things. I started getting a lot more like-minded people in my chat because I could actually have genuine conversations with these people, and we could actually genuinely discuss the problems that my colony was facing and then work them out together. And that became a really big engaging part of the channel as a whole. And it just kind of grew from there. And I got to a point where, because primarily before I got on Twitch, I didn't do anything but play strategy games and simulation games at all. And then I hit Twitch and I was like, well, I guess the way that you grow is you play what everyone else is playing. And that's not it at all. If you're not enjoying what you're playing, then you're not going to be you while you're playing it, right? It's just
Well,
how
I
it
think
is.
I think honestly enjoying what you're playing, I don't know, there's a lot of factors in this. Like, to put it simply, what I would say is you saw the ingredients for what would make you the most comfortable in being yourself, and by doing those things, and this could be with anything in life, but by doing those things you have become more Colt. So that confidence, the conversation around it, you're building, like, and it's not like you're building these, like, Oxygen Not Included, you're not building this colony by yourself, you are building it with people and the assist of like other people as well, and like they can comment on your work and like help give tips, or you could share your tribal knowledge with them. It's like, it's really weird how like you are physically or digitally building a community, but also like involving the community in the build, because then you're in it together. And that's a really unique experience. You don't get that with Overwatch. You don't get that with, like you said, story-driven games or anything like that. It's more of like the experience, the ride's over, I'm gonna leave. Whereas like yours is like, oh, we're building this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty dope. I like that. So like, I want to talk a little bit more about Oxygen Not Included, because you and me talked briefly about this, but it had came to you as like a beacon of light in gaming. And I want you to talk a little bit more about that experience, because I was in a very similar boat. I don't remember the time period. All I know is that everything fucking sucked. Every game sucked. I was really debating. I was looking at like my game collection, the 360, the original Xbox 64. I was like, was this all for naught? Like, did I really just grow up in this amazing era of golden video games, and then just to get to this place where everybody fucking sucks at making games? Like, what is happening? Is it me? Did I change? Like, I'm questioning myself, my morality, like what all the money I spent. I'm like, do I just give it all up and then just like focus on getting a real job? and then Dark Souls came out, and I had specifically avoided everything Dark Souls. This was like before I even was super involved with the internet in general, so I didn't know anything about the game. And when I started playing it from start to finish, it was the game that saved my desire to pursue gaming even more, because it gave me more hope. It was like, I don't understand how I went that long without an experience like that, or why an experience like that didn't exist until then. But I distinctly remember picking the game up for like $40 because it had been out for a while and it was on sale, and I was like, I'm just gonna give it a try. And from start to finish, I didn't read anything or do anything. And just to share with you, because I know you're familiar with Dark Souls, I've only beaten Dark Souls once, the first one once, but I had over 200 hours in the game, and most of it was just because I didn't know where to go. So like, there's a portion in that game where like you get to the golden fog and you need an item to get through it. And so what I did, instead of like looking it up, is I went to all these different areas of the map where I would get to the golden fog and couldn't enter, and then I'd turn around and go back through. And so I did that probably for 40 hours by itself. And by the time I had encountered the giant metal suit, I can't remember his name, the boss name, but he's in this courtyard. You walk in, it's the first boss in the game where he's like fucking ginormous. All right. And I have a black knight axe that I leveled up during this entire time. And so I do a jump and I hit him, and his health goes, and he flinched. And I was like, is this what it's like to be God? And then I went through the entire like second half of original Dark Souls, beating the shit out of every fucking thing with this black knight axe. And then the final boss, I parried and killed. And I was like, on top of the goddamn world. It was I was like, it's me! You thought I was a piece of shit? I'm the best in the world! Like, it was the most satisfying feeling. And then going forward, that was the experience that I had looked at, and it was a lack of quality. So like, explain like your story, dude. Like
So as far, I mean, and we should also aside real fast, Demon Souls was actually my first experience with the Souls series, like the Souls-born games in general. God, and if you've not played Demon Souls, it is worth every fucking penny to go back and find a way to play Demon Souls. It really is.
I watched Edward play it, and I disagree with you.
man, it is that game is an experience. Basically, it's crazy. That was my first. I actually played Demon Souls and Dark Souls. I played them at the same time, and I actually put the game down for 6 months, 6 to 9 months, something like that. Like I could not get past a certain part, and I just put that shit down, and I was like, back to Minecraft. This is not for me, clearly. And then I figured. Actually ended up loving I think I've got a little over 1,000 hours in the Souls games by now. But as far as strategy games go, man, I had at the time, as far as on Twitch, I had pretty much, man, I had just played everything that I knew to play, and I had built up a pretty small community, but we're all real tight, you know, like you always see like the Instagram meme with like the 3 people coming into the chat, and they're always real hype about it. And I had that going on, and it was a good time and everything, but I wanted more. I wanted to grow that experience. And I had actually reached a point, however, where I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Whatever happens from here, you know, we'll either just shut this whole thing down and I'll move on with life, or we'll just pack it up, you know, basically. And I had picked up Oxygen Not Included on a sale, and I had been looking at this game for a very long time because it had all of the kind of, I don't know, nuances that I really enjoy. You know, you had like your colony sim thing. You have like an invisible clock that's constantly beating against you as far as needing to race against time to get things done. And at that time, I actually had no idea about any of the physics simulation that was in the game, because the whole game's huge based off of being able to manipulate the physics of the world.
And you're talking about like that infographic you displayed where like the weight of the different gases and stuff is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about physics in different aspects as well?
Well, just in like a kind of a control systems aspect as well.
Okay,
but yeah,
okay.
the gas infographic is huge. That was a big eye opener for me. But I had found a game essentially, you know, and this all kind of rolled into how much I enjoy community engagement. I had found a game where the people that were coming into the chat, they didn't know a lot about the game either, and so everybody was kind of, like me included, you know, like I would place a thing down, and it was one of those deals where like you're like playing a game and you'd like place down a thing and you look at your chat to see if anyone's talking shit, and no one's talking shit, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna place down another thing, and is anyone talking shit, you know, kind of deal. And after a while it turned into a thing where pretty much like me and the community were just talking about Oxygen Not Included and just kind of discussing the different ways that things worked, and they started kind of opening my eyes to how you can mix and use the environment to your advantage, and you can mix things together to create these systems, such as the oxygen module that I made last night in the stream, where you basically you use the game's mechanics against itself to split hydrogen and oxygen to produce pure hydrogen that you then use to power your base, but also give yourself cool oxygen into the base. Then you can support up to 10 duplicates with that, and that basically just allows you to kind of survive off of 10 dupes for an indefinite amount of time, as long as you can keep a wire connected between the hydrogen and the oxygen. It was really advanced shit for me
but
at
it's
the
just
time.
experimentation, right? Like you were just fucking with things to see what would happen, and then you were like, oh shit, this actually works.
This is actually working.
And would you say that like a lot of that came from like understanding the fundamentals of how the game physics worked, and then trying to extrapolate it with what was given to you, like technology wise in the game and that sort of thing?
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I mean, you go through and like there's all these different, God, it's so hard to just describe, but there's all these different items as you get deeper and deeper into the research tree in Oxygen Not Included, that they just seem very useless. And like, this is just an item that you would just throw down on a situational use only kind of thing. But in reality, really, if you utilize that thing, you can make a rocket, and then with that rocket, you can fly off to another planet and get another material and this, that, and the other. But really, this thing only costs 200 copper, and you're like, I don't know if I can spare 200 copper, but you should. You know, it's a whole bunch of like risk reward stuff. Actually, I would say akin to, as far as strategy games go, I would very easily say that Oxygen Not Included is very much so a Dark Souls experience for a strategy gamer. Because there's, at any point in time, you could immediately, fuck up one thing and something goes wrong for one cycle, and then there's your whole colony. You can be 500 cycles in and have one thing go bad, and there goes your whole
Well, it's
colony.
even worse because like you can't recover after that. You're done. You have to start all over.
It's over. Yeah, either oxygen starts to run out, food starts to run out.
Yeah, you're talking about hardcore mode, single death. You're done.
Yeah.
It's a rogue. It's like a roguelike. It's a roguelike strategy.
Oh, it's 100%. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because every map is randomly generated. You're given a seed if you want to go back and play the same map, but every map is randomly generated. All the duplicates are randomly generated. Pretty much everything is completely randomly generated for what you're going to receive on the map itself. And the community for that game, because I've gotten super involved in the community with it. The community for Oxygen Not Included has been awesome as far as just like compiling information on how you can do things, but it's not one of those games like Banished, for instance, which is another colony builder. It's not one of those games where things are just cookie cutter. Like, you always build something this way and it will always turn out this way. There's always little variables like temperature and materials available to you and things like that can very easily change the entire course of the game. And it's a very, very, it was a super eye-opening experience for me, because I was like, holy fuck, something like this exists?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like, this
that's
is
amazing
exactly
though, because like
that I've been looking.
Yeah, there's I don't know. I feel like a lot of people go through this sort of cynicalness in gaming. It's a really unique thing. That's why like retro is such a popular category, because people consider it like a golden age of video games, and in many ways it totally is, because you're talking about hardware limitations that require ingenuity and creativity to make a game that transcends literal generations of people that can revisit it at any time. But it's really cool to hear these stories, because like Oxygen Not Included is a staple in your stream, but it's not just like something that you play for engagement. It's something that you thoroughly enjoy down to its very core. And the education around that and the community you build around that is like, it's awesome, dude. Like I don't play the games, but I consider myself like a part of like an apprentice. You know what I mean? I'm a shit fucking dupe manager, but I'll sit in and I'll like listen for a few minutes, and like you're talking everything out of context. I have no fucking clue what you're saying, but then you're like, you go into just like the fundamentals of the explanation, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense to me, but I still don't know what's going on. It just makes sense. I don't know. I appreciate the amount of love and care you have into the game. It makes a lot.
My whole thing with Oxygen Not Included and using that, which I never intended to have that game be kind of a cornerstone. It was just, I think it was last October I started playing it, and then by the time May came around, I was like, oh my God, I haven't played another game since October. Like I've only played this one game. This is insane. Yeah. But I never intended to make it like the only video game that I ever played. But the fact of the matter behind it is that it was just such an engrossing experience. Not to mention, with it being in early access, I could sit there and just watch it grow. And then when it finally hit the full release, and I'm not the only person that did this. There's Aka TV, Mojo D, Brothgar even he started actually streaming on Twitch when the game finally hit full release last month. And all of us kind of unspoken to each other, like we all knew each other existed. Mojo D hangs out in the channel, but like Aka TV and Kinetic Ghost is another guy. We all like we're kind of the forebearers, I would say, in that, and Shred guy, kind of the forebearers in that community. We all played the shit out of this game before it actually released, and we knew that when the full release happened, there was going to be so many new people coming into the game. And so then all of a sudden you started seeing people like Aiko were doing these massive challenge runs and introducing himself to a much wider audience. Kinetic Ghost was doing the exact same thing. I am doing the same thing currently with my tutorial series that I'm doing. And it's awesome because I feel like the community as a whole, even though most of us are unspoken towards each other, we're all just trying to get more people to play Oxygen Not Included, because it's a great fucking game. And I feel like a lot of people that if you actively searched for something like Oxygen Not Included, that is something that you're going to be very interested in. And it's definitely going to scratch a very specific itch. As most fucking strategy games do, they all scratch a very specific itch for a lot of us, be it management or warfare or whatever it may be.
Right. Can we talk a little bit more about that too? Because like I know we talked a little bit about like how strategy games are sort of like what the gaming community needs, right? But
for sure, but nobody actually knows that they need it. They just assume.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about like the ingredients behind it, like what makes these games for you so satisfying. Is it the control? Is it the complexity? Is it the mental malleability? Like what is the driving factor for continuing to come back to this game? Like what is the like because I remember you went on a rant for 45 minutes or something. Like it's all I think about. Like you were going for like a long time. You were talking about like all these different factors, but overall, like I know there's a lot of self-reflection in like what you're doing because you clearly thought about it. You can't just talk about something for that long passionately without actually contemplating the existence behind it. But what is the like driving factor for you? Is it zen? Is it not work at all? It's just like this is a different mode that Colt goes into and it's like a flow state sort of thing. Like what is that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's a flow state, and you're not always good at it, but I think more so it's more of just it's an escape from the norm. Like everybody's played their story games, and you know, you've played even something that I loved with all my heart. As a matter of fact, I did an accidental 24-hour stream because I didn't realize it had been 24 hours until a viewer in chat told me. But God of War, most recently, is one of the best examples of this. As much as I love that game, no matter how many times that you go through and you play God of War, it's always the same game. Right. And so it's a single serving game experience. Even games, if you want to take it just like a hair deeper, even games like Assassin's Creed that I have a lot of randomized assets and side quests and things like that, they're still at the end of it, you're still going to come out on top as the hero kind of thing, you know. Whereas if you start up a game of something like, say, Stellaris, right, which Stellaris is it's a galaxy-wide kind of space empire game where you start as a single planet civilization that has just discovered space flight, and then you begin to branch out. That game, at the beginning, you can have the best intentions of being like a tourist sort of environment where you want to bring other people in, and then you have one guy that pisses you off, and you become this massive dominating force that moves over I've played probably 400 or 500 hours of Stellaris, and I don't think I've had a single game come out that has ever ended the exact same. You know, and I think that's one of the biggest things is I enjoy, and I've actually said this a bunch on my channel, I enjoy the living game, if you've heard that term before, but things like what Warframe does, where their game is just constantly growing and constantly expanding. Stellaris, Crusader Kings, Civilization series, oh my God, what's another one? Oh, I mean, Oxygen Not Included is a great example of that. Everything is just constantly growing. You don't have to go out and buy the next immediate iteration of it because you're still experiencing the then and now, and it's not the exact same experience no matter how many different times you look at it. It's awesome.
Have you played Frostpunk?
Oh yeah, Sophirian knows I've played Frostpunk.
I have not played Frostpunk, Sophirian. Also,
No?
Soph, it's good to see you, bud. I really enjoyed your contribution to the tweet.
Soph is the king of information. I actually saw that tweet, and Soph is literally the king of information.
Yeah, he's like, I'm an idiot. I'm like, sir, you literally just deep dived into this fucking whole thing, and I was just like asking a question. Yeah, you're not a fucking idiot, dude. You're a smart dude.
Soph he's a special human being.
Where are you going?
She's gonna go laugh loudly.
Say hello. Colt was like, is she gonna go laugh loudly?
Oh, he hurt me.
100%.
Oh my God.
You want to say hello? You're gonna meet him someday. My wife.
That we're in the same room. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Hey, me
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Wait, I don't.
Oh, dude, that would freak me out.
Ha.
Yeah, we're in the same room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all just hanging out
Right.
together.
Get out of here.
sorry.
You're fine. Have fun. Say hi. Say hi for me. Say hi to me.
Yeah, she actually just brought him a Michelada. That's right.
Fuck you guys. I will only drink a Michelada with you. That's the only time I'll drink it.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
actually gonna TwitchCon as a matter of
All right.
fact. Yeah,
God
we're
damn.
gonna have a big fancy Michelada and a tequila shot because no one
There's
else.
shrimp in that Michelada. I'm gonna fucking dump it.
There's gonna be a fucking salmon in that.
No!
Michelada. I'm gonna make sure.
Yeah, can I get a
Put a-
Michelada
put
with
a-
extra salmon, please?
They're gonna be like, "What?" I'm gonna be like, "Just put a whole fucking salmon in it and bring it to me." I'm not kidding.
Oh God. Yeah, when we started looking at pictures that night, I gotta highlight that whole section because I got upset. I've never been so upset. Rocco,
know
oh
you
my
did.
God, Rocco, hi, dude.
Oh
Say
my
hey,
God.
Rocco. Colt, you need
What?
to profess your love for
Oh my
Rocco because
God,
this is your
dude.
time.
I fucking love your channel, dude. It is a fucking puppet cat. Chat, go follow Say Hey Rocco. It's amazing. It is the funniest shit that I've ever watched, man. No matter what they're playing, I love it so much, man. It is hilarious.
Yes,
Amazing. Welcome.
dude, your face just got so red. Are you like nervous?
Super excited, first of all. No, I'm just Irish, so it's just what happens. We're either
Rocco,
red or
thank you so
pale.
much.
So
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Say hey, Rocco. Please go follow Rocco.
he's fangirling. Yeah, Soph's got it
Rocco is a cat puppet that poops in closets, loves some cheese fries, and has two awesome parents that raised him. Please go check him out.
right.
Rocco, I could do silly
111% what you
voices
need to
now,
do.
by the way. With the next time
We play Sea of Thieves. Yeah, baby. Oh.
I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna make you laugh the whole time.
I can't do anything in Sea
Oh,
of
there we
Thieves
go.
except for properly aim to puke directly on your face while you're driving the boat.
Dude, I want to
That's
play Sea of... I was
sad.
gonna say I want to Sea of Thieves with VR, and then I was like, I get motion sickness on a boat for sure. And I just... That's all I need to do is just like hear it. You're like, oh yeah, this is so great.
I don't feel good.
Yeah, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Rocco, Colt is a big fan. Rocco just got back from the ads, so please tell Rocco again how you feel about the channel.
Rocco, you're fucking hilarious, and literally, you're the whole shtick behind the cat puppet and everything. I have legitimately been in tears in your channel, and I think that what you're doing is beautiful, and you please continue, and I love it. I actually shouted you out the other day in one of my streams because no one knew who you were, and I was like,
there,
"Oh
yeah.
my fucking God. You have to.
You're like, you
You
know
have
what?
to go see this. Yeah.
Go check her out.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Please keep doing you.
Oh my gosh, welcome in everybody. For everybody who doesn't know me, I'm Steve, aka KonkyTalks64, Sausage King of Chicago, Abe Froman, you know the whole steals. ColtDiggity is my special guest on the Exp Talk Show. We do this talk show every week with awesome people, streamers. I'm trying to get as many people in here to just have a conversation, and we went through politics. We went through. We're now talking about like strategy games and like the ingredients behind like why they are so great. Because that's Colt's forte. Is he loves games like Oxygen Not Included, Factorio. Those are the two that I know, but there's more, 100%. And we're just going through the convo. So thank you for bringing all your friends in. I know what it's like to watch a stream for a long time and want to go to bed. So if you wouldn't mind, that heart in the top right corner of the screen on mobile and on desktop, if you smooch that follow button, just give that smooch. We'll see you later when Rocco's not online, because you got to be watching Rocco and not me when, things are going on. Homeworld? Wait, new Homeworld? Homeworld.
Yeah, fourth quarter of 2022. I
Wow.
was like crazy excited. Like, we got some time.
A whole new world. Okay, so we were just about to get into the ingredients behind these games that make them dope.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it is fourth quarter of 2022. It's, I don't even know why they showed us the video. It's worthless. If you don't know what Homeworld is, just to hurt us. If
you get a little bit of hope, and that's all you get.
Exactly. If you don't know what Homeworld is, it was one of the first, basically the first space RTS game, like real-time strategy game that was fully 3D. You had a full 3D plane. You could actually hide your ships by flying them up above the enemy and then swooping down on them as they began to invade, because you could hide from their sensors. It was super advanced for its time. This was like 2000. What was Homeworld? 2003, 2004?
1999.
99. Holy fucking. So it's super advanced, right? Like, we were still beating stone tablets like at that time. I don't even think.
I'm pretty sure.
like
I remember
ballpoint pens
beating. I remember beating stone tablets in '99.
Yeah,
They were taking Pokemon notebooks away in my school.
Right, yeah.
They were notebooks. They didn't even have cards in them. It was like Mewtwo's on there, the devil, you know?
Yeah, insane. They didn't even have, like, our whiskey was still just grog. You know, it's just shit that they brewed in a toilet and then gave to us. So anyways.
We didn't even have craft beer then.
Yeah, man, what did we do without our IPAs? We didn't puke every Saturday. So anyways, the Homeworld 3 just got announced, and that they're trying to promise that it's going to be another major step forward for that genre. God, I hope so, because it's been a long time since a game like that has come out, and it's a really, really good series to build upon, and as long as I don't fuck it up, it'll be great. But as far as the actual things for me personally that make stuff, a lot of people in my channel, and I think Decker even asked me earlier to sell you KonkyDong on playing a game of Stellaris together, so I'm going to try and do that. But because you had even asked me, you said, hey, what would be a strategy game that would be good to introduce somebody to strategy games, right? And I've done tutorials with Stellaris before, and it's really all dependent upon how you feel about space games. But Stellaris is kind of the full package. It's got everything that made me too. So everything that makes like games like Civilization great, where you have a small beginning and then you grow into a massive empire.
Yeah.
It has everything from that, and then it also has the complete and teetotal management of an entire galaxy at your fingertips.
You see this, and it's not a selling point to me, because it just, like, I start hyperventilating, and I'm like, what if they all die? What if am I doing everything wrong? What's going on? Am I real? You know, like, there's all these, like, permeating thoughts.
Existential. Yeah. So
is that why you like it?
That's the point.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like how much can you physically take? Right? Like, how much can your brain physically remember to manage before shit completely falls apart? Because Stellaris is not a game that you play and you just finish it, right? Like, Stellaris is a game that you reach a point at where you feel like, I am happy with this, and then you turn it the fuck off. Like, you know, that point could be 300 hours into one single match, and you could just be like, I've done everything that I want to do with this one particular game, and I will put this down for now, and we will move on with life.
Time to go.
But what is so interesting about Stellaris is that it's not just about you, whereas something like, I guess I should build on that. So something like Civilization is very much so based around, you have your settler community, right? And then you have the other players' settler community. And there's up to like 18 of you, and you have to make sure that you're vying for power via espionage and all this stuff between all these different people. It actually has very little to do with that, though other people do exist in the game world or in the galaxy that you're playing in. The biggest thing about it is that it has these random events that take place that make it feel very much like the game is growing as you're playing.
So it builds a world around what you're doing, as opposed to making you feel like you're in a container.
Yeah,
right?
And you have these you have these massive events that can take place that will completely change everything. Like I remember one game that I was playing most recently actually on stream. I've got, like I said, probably 400 hours in this game or so, and all of a sudden this cylinder just like randomly popped up. Like this big silver cylinder popped up in my solar system. And then it ended up completely destroying my entire civilization, and I couldn't do anything about it. It was just this random cylinder, and they were like, "Do you want to talk to it?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to talk to that." And then it destroyed. It was like a time traveling fucking cylinder, and it just started to obliterate my entire civilization. It was crazy. It's just like all these side stories, and
like a monolith, like just showed up and it was like, "Yo, dude, fuck you."
Yeah, it was like, "You don't want to talk to me? Go fuck yourself." And then it just blew everything up. It was crazy. Yeah, and it's shit like that.
That sounds really cool though, because like I don't know, dude. I like it's plausible too. It's not like it's outside the realm of not happening. Like you have a
yeah, because there's like space squids in this game, you know, like you can enter into a solar system and all of a sudden there's just a gigantic squid that's guarding this solar system. It completely obliterates your entire fucking
Is this on
army.
Is this on Steam then?
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see this.
Careful. Stellaris is a deep hole, but I do firmly believe that as far as strategy games go, I believe that Stellaris has the most to offer to newcomers coming into the game, and completely wholeheartedly ignore all the DLC. The reason I say that is because what we were talking about earlier, as far as a living video game goes, Stellaris or anything that Paradox Interactive creates, Stellaris will typically have Paradox will typically have a game that they don't release a sequel to. What they do instead is they just continuously release content for that game over and over.
Okay.
And so I think right now, I think Stellaris is, if you were to buy all of it, I think it's like $300 or something. But it's a game that's been around since like 2009 or 2010.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so you're essentially just like purchasing into the base game, and then they have all these additional things. Let's see.
Yeah, but you're talking about like thousands upon thousand hours of content.
Oh, easily, dude. Easily. Yeah, there's a lot there.
I just wishlisted the base game. Wait, you're saying I should buy the $300 one?
No. You can easily buy just the base game.
Okay.
And then if you want to grow your experience, you can kind of just cherry pick each of the things.
Good to know. Because I was worried.
Yeah. No.
You're like, yeah, it's like $300. It's a good value. I was like, go fuck yourself, guy. You're telling me to enter into a game. You're like, $300 is pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah. This is super reasonable. Yeah, absolutely. Sell a kidney and then quit everything else that you enjoy in life and just start playing this.
Colt's not worried about years, okay? He's just worried about the experience of when it happened. That's it. What it feels like, feels like 2007, feels like 2006. Actual date 99.
Star Citizen. There we go. Star Citizen. That's the important takeaway is Star Citizen.
I'm gonna pass.
That is a game that's never gonna actually release, but they're gonna show us a lot of really pretty stuff.
I believe you.
Man, I really hope that game does eventually release, though.
Dude, well, speaking of games that actually release, do you think this is a good time to do the whole trailer thing?
Still prepping for Y2K. Yeah. I got my cat just in case. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple. There's only really one that actually goes in line with the strategy stuff that we're talking about.
That's okay.
There's a lot of horror games getting ready to come out, man.
That sounds good to me.
And this one, I'll send it to Discord. This is actually a horror game. It's a survival horror game that reminds me a lot of Dead Space. And I'm pretty fucking excited about it. I don't know if you liked Dead Space or not.
100%. Dead Space 1 and 2 are some of my favorite space horror games.
Dude,
I think they're the only space horror games that I like. Is there other space horror games? Alien Isolation.
Fuck that game. But
hey, you were afraid, okay? It worked. It fucking worked.
Oh, I mean, it definitely did its purpose, but fuck that game.
Dude, that game
cost me
scary.
like $100.
Yeah, because you snapped a controller in half from the stress.
And a chair.
I cried. Christine,
dude,
I
it's
played.
like
I'm
that.
not joking. Me and my sister, I refuse to play these games by myself. First of all, because I don't control my heart rate. People are like, Steve, control your heart rate, and I'm just like. So she's next to me, and like, I don't know if I have a clip in there, but she's next to me. We see the xenomorph go into a room to the left. I sprint down the hall, go into a vent. I turn, and it's right there, and I die. And I was like, like right there, and I fucking teared up, and a tear left.
Dude, that's what the fuck happened to me. I didn't cry, but it was a dark room, right? It was a dark and stormy night on like a Tuesday or something. And I had my I was a bright-eyed boy at the age of 28. And I was not intoxicated at all, a lot though. And then I went into this hallway and then ducked into a vent. And I saw the alien, right? And I'm a huge puss. And
Same.
And I saw the alien and I just froze. Like even playing the video game, I was like, fuck all of this. And so I actually walked away and I came back. And the alien, it was completely gone. And then in hindsight, which hindsight's always 20/20. In hindsight, I was like, fucking should not have walked away. I should have paid attention to where he went.
Right.
So I turned around inside the vent and just kind of slow creeped it through the vent. And I turned a corner and bam, there that motherfucker was, dude. And it scared me so fucking bad. I kicked my chair back. It fucking snapped the back off of the chair. I fucking broke the controller in half. And I just kind of just laid there with a broken controller staring up at my ceiling for a second. And I was like, I'm not playing this game again, dude. This is such bullshit.
Oh my god. Yeah. I have the opposite reaction. I would like my response to being scared is like barf all over myself and hope I'm so disgusting that I don't get hurt. That's how I handle it.
No one will come after me if I pee on myself. This
They're
will
like,
be great.
he's gross, okay? First of all, I'm not touching him. Second of all.
Yeah, fuck this shit. I'm out. .mp4. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was so me.
That is literally,
And then I went on to play Visage. It was actually Twitch. Because I did not play Alien Isolation on Twitch, but it was actually Twitch that got me to start playing horror games again. And I played, I did like a whole series earlier this year, but I played Visage.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played that game?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that game's fucked up.
Yeah, I didn't get very far, as you can imagine. I got into the basement part, and I was struggling because the game was still like not fully released, and like you got to put candles on the thing. So like I hear this bitch coming up behind me, and I'm like trying to put a candle up so that the light happens and everything like gets normal. But what's instead happening is the anxiety in the game and the heart rate and the breathing is increasing, and I'm just constantly missing. I'm just putting the candle. It's falling down. I'm just like, it's literally me fumbling with a candle in real life, and then I die. And I was like, I'm okay not playing this. That's it.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It's garbage. Yeah, dude. That game
hurts me.
That game fucked with me real bad. I finished it in a solid 3 hours flat. Like I was just like, let's just get to each objective, get this shit done and get it over with so I can go play Candy Crush on my phone or something. Like I needed a happy moment after I got done with it.
I got F'd in the B. That was terrible.
Blair Witch just came out and Men of Medan also just came out.
Blair Witch looked pretty scary.
Ooh, I'm gonna actually
lie.
play both of those tomorrow night. That's my plan. I didn't realize Blair Witch already came out. That's huge. That's huge because that game looks like it's gonna be really terrifying. And I do dig the horror games, but I've grown. I've grown since Alien Isolation.
I have not. I'm still a little bitch. I have not. When Meggles plays them, she was playing this like I don't remember what the game was called. It was like you were like Meggles. What was the game you were called? Where like you went to
Jodie Foster.
Oh, I don't know. You're like show up. You're walking your dog, and then your dog disappears, and you're like chasing your dog through a sewer.
Lost in Vivo.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck that game.
Yeah. Nope. That's a big no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on that. And the whole time I'm just like typing no, like over and over in her chat. I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm going to throw up. Like I had to have the volume like all the way down. Like, and it was oh god damn all right.
Yeah.
That's me.
Lost in Vivo was a fucked up game.
Scaredy Dong 64 nickname. Okay.
Watching Bikeman play Blair Witch. I'm not gonna watch any of it. I love Bikeman to death, but I'm not gonna watch any of it. I see it on my sidebar. I want to play it. I'm interested.
Okay.
It has me intrigued.
So I have this queued up.
Okay. Which one is it?
Shadows of Kepler.
Yeah. So this is a new game by a very, very small team. I think there's like 6 people in it.
Really?
And it is and it is it looks pretty terrifying. It looks like it's got some Cthulhu kind of origins to it. And definitely heavily influenced by Dead Space. But it's also a kind of a base builder kind of thing. It's a survival game.
Okay, let's take a look.
Mhm.
I have this on the stream, so I don't know if you want to watch it that way.
Life is something beautiful, strange,
Oh, well, this
weird.
is epic.
It's like a first kiss. You find something beautiful, like your new home. You look at the window and you see that beautiful image. Then comes the storm, the tempest.
Oh.
But if you pass the storm, you will find that's something beautiful.
That's a big fat no, Captain. We'll literally change my name to Poopy Dong 60.
You won't do it.
No balls, yeah, 100%. I'm in the middle
Yeah.
of like making a bunch of different scenes because I want to do more games where like so for me the way I
Now, if you
don't talk to me, sir. The way I like cope with situations is all through comedy, and so as long as I can do this in my own way, I can cope with it just fine. But I don't know if I'll be able to handle that shit. Okay, so this one's Iceborne, Monster Hunter Iceborne, which I'm very excited about.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And this is actually the importance behind this trailer is that I've played, for me anyways, the importance for me behind this trailer is that I've played Monster Hunter since the original on PlayStation 2 and then
Really?
every iteration since. And I love Monster Hunter is literally probably my favorite franchise on anything ever. I really love it. It's amazing.
Did you play it when it was out on like 3DS and stuff too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah. I have
God.
My 3DS is next to my bed. I still play Monster Hunter 3. Xenogre though. I've asked for Xenogre since Monster Hunter World was
Hell yeah.
announced, right? And this is the trailer that actually shows Xenogre. And I cannot wait to get them salty, salty tears from all the people that cannot beat Xenogre.
Me
It
too.
is going to be gorgeous. It's going to be beautiful.
Dude, yeah, I played so I got into Monster Hunter super late in the game. Monster Hunter 3 was my first one on 3DS, and then I
That's
got
a
it
good
on
one.
Wii U because they allowed you to transfer from 3DS to Wii U, and it was me and my buddies in a 4-way conference call, or I think maybe we were using some sort of voice chat like Zoom, playing Monster Hunter on 3DS, and Christina, my sister, she didn't have one, so me and her, it was actually like a sibling like bonding moment where she wanted to be a paleontologist when she was growing up. She loves dinosaurs like to a degree that I don't like. I haven't met a single other person who knows as much about dinosaurs or is as passionate about it. And so this was like right up her fucking alley. And so what ended up happening was like she was like the researcher for me while I was playing Monster Hunter 3. And so me and James and like 2 of my other buddies would group up to fight a monster, and she'd be like, okay, you need this gear, bring these traps, bring this sort of stuff. And then she finally got a PS4 and got Monster Hunter World, and she's got over 800 plus hours on the game. And then I bought it again for her on PC, and I sent her the Xenogre trailer because me and her loved fighting this fucking thing on 3. and she was like, "Oh my god, there's so many!"
Yeah.
She's stoked, dude. I cannot wait
Yeah.
to play this game with my sister, man. So this has
Man,
been like a
Narga-
really big one.
Nargacuga, Tigrex, and Zenogre. I don't know how that's gonna work in this environment that is Monster Hunter World, but it's gonna be sick as fuck. I know that, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be really rage inducing. It's another one of those games that akin to something like Dark Souls, where the story is like there's always your story, right? But the real story is always hidden underneath it, right?
Right.
As you talk to the townspeople and all that kind of stuff, they kind of give you more of what's actually happened and how you've reached this point. Monster Hunter 3 did a marvelous job of introducing that. Oh,
Agreed.
Meg, absolutely, you should play Monster Hunter. Yeah, I mean, I've got a party starting up September 6th.
The way I would explain it is like it's a really
It's
good
awesome.
it's a really good setup where it's a really good setup for a game that requires you to learn a lot from like the people that you are surrounded with or
Mhm.
surrounded by. Like that game was all tribal knowledge for me. It was like, what is this that doesn't work. What is this game? How do I understand it? And it was always like players showing me how to do whatever it was. I
Right,
really enjoyed
yeah.
that aspect of it.
Yeah, and like the community for Monster Hunter 2, I think that's actually the only Reddit community that I've ever gone into and not immediately been disgusted. Like the community behind Monster Hunter, because for so long before Monster Hunter World came out, it was such a niche thing. That
Right.
people played Monster Hunter in the West because we always had to wait. It was always a year or 2 years before we got the game. Right, Japan always had it first. People were importing their 3DSs from the Japanese version and all that stuff.
Right.
And that niche community did such a great job of introducing new players that were joining for Monster Hunter World. They did such a great job of generally not being toxic.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always huge in an online community. Find a shitload of people that agree to just not be toxic and to introduce new people to the game. Because the biggest thing behind that was like the more I saw hand through him. The more people that they could get on board with Monster Hunter World, the easier it would be to get Capcom to be like, yeah, we'll bring more Monster Hunter over to the West and not have to
Right.
make you guys import it and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, they had a lot of success on PlayStation 4 and consoles, and then bringing it to PC, it's been like exorbitantly better. Like everybody
Yeah.
is, and also load times. Let's just talk about how load times on PC are just like bah bah bah. Let's hunt 4
Yeah.
monsters. You know, like I
Yeah.
love doing that. So
now we're going to hunt monsters. Exactly.
what's this next trailer? So this says
This is a super interesting game. It is called Not for Broadcast, and it is a propaganda simulation game.
okay,
It's kind of like if you've played something like Papers, Please or Not Tonight, how you kind of control the flow of information with the public. This game is the same concept, but it's done via an FOV and a control panel, and you control and censor the media that makes it through.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah, I just saw it literally this video because I had another trailer that I wanted to watch, and then I saw this trailer just before me and you started the show, and this looks fantastic. It looks really, really engrossing, and I think I'm going to lose a lot of my life to play in this game, I believe.
all right, let's check it out.
But seriously, yes, you're right. He wants to code and prove himself with a career record of 12 hours.
Do you think your parents will ever really love you again?
Right, that's it. And after my book, Alan James is right, Jeremy. How is this not going to be happy with that? Most people can barely keep up with demand, Jeremy.
To an undisciplined...
This microphone pack has just given me an electric shock.
Alan, I've never heard to see you again.
Yes, here come the on-site.
Interesting. Huh. That looks cool, dude.
So the games that if you've not played Papers, Please and stuff, the way that they introduce the story to you is basically based off of the people that you interact with, is how they introduce it to you. And in this case, the videos that you're actually watching, let me big brother the fuck out of this game. So the story will be trickled into you as far as what's going on, and then you can make your own decisions from there as far as what you actually want to let slide. You sway public opinion and things like that. And there's going to be another story over that. They sound super boring until you actually play them, and because even Papers, Please, as big of a nerd as I am, I must have seen Papers, Please go across my Steam page storefront for at least a year before finally I was like, let me just check it out and see what it's about. And I loved it. And that looks like it's just going to build more on that culture of these kind of, I don't even know what to really call them, propaganda games, I guess.
Propaganda, dystopian games, yeah.
Yeah, dystopian future games, yeah.
Parallel
really,
universes,
really
very cool.
So,
dude, that's I don't know. I'm very stoked about that. That was really interesting. Yeah, Monster Hunter World, and that game looks super nuts. You guys want to?
Be great.
You want to get into like some questions? I know we talked a lot, but I actually have a really good question from Decker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it?
So for those of you guys who were asking questions during the show, I've got one from Clownstein. It's a clip, so we can watch that. The second is, or the first one that I have is a question from Decker, and Decker asks, do you feel that streaming has made you a better person, more tolerant, more accepting, more positive? ?
I wouldn't say that it's made me more accepting, more tolerant, or anything like that. I would say that it's brought out more of the qualities, because I'm a very introverted person. I think it's brought out more of the qualities that I used to hold as I used to hold dear, like just very personal opinions and things like that. And it's allowed me to kind of branch them out, because you're really amongst a community of introverts. That's kind of why we're all on the internet. And so you're kind of introducing yourself into a community of very like-minded people. Typically, that's how streaming works, right? And then you have the whole authenticity thing, and that draws on even more people, I feel like. So I wouldn't say that it's made me a more genuine person, allowed me to open up my thought processes a little bit. Does that make sense?
It does.
Without sounding samey.
Well, it's like basically what you're explaining is the more time you spend on the platform, the more you've gotten acquainted with yourself and being comfortable with yourself, but in the presence of other people that are online. So I think that's like a big common thing that happens on Twitch in general, is like we all start and everybody's got different experiences and different socialized things that they go through. So like there's a persona that gets represented and like how they are online versus offline. And like I myself too struggle with that a lot. It was actually like a strain on me and Leia's relationship like 3 years ago when we first started dating, because I didn't necessarily know how to act on stream in comparison to off stream. And it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just not fully myself. And you just get comfortable and like start to dabble in it more. And then you like, as you get more comfortable and in your own skin, so to speak, with the camera on, then everything sort of just starts to feel right. And you just keep improving on that aspect.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes in the complete opposite direction for some people, but you know, for the most part, I like to think that the people we consider like authentic, quote unquote, is a constant experimentation of how you'd like to be. And like I know, you know, not every stream is going to be the best, and I think like somebody, I can't remember who said this, but the way it was explained to me was like, even on the days that are bad, there's still days that are good to go live on, because you can talk about your process, your thoughts, your personality, because this whole thing is about sharing like yourself. And even though you are introverted to a certain extent, like there's a lot to be said that like you chose to go to Twitch as an outlet to socialize. You know what I mean? Because it's a necessity for us to not feel alone and to connect with other people.
Right.
What would you say is the best thing streaming has done for you personally?
I've actually just to kind of just build on that. It's allowed me to be just more open and not, I guess, what is the best way to say it? Not to feel so much like a shut-in, because games like what I typically play are typically in very small niche communities, right?
Sure.
And then obviously streaming on Twitch, I mean, there's been just a huge kind of outlet, and I think my favorite part of Twitch is like you said earlier, actually comedy based, and so it's kind of helped me refine the comedy side of things a little bit, and just enjoy, laughing with other people. Like those that come into my channel, I even have a disclaimer at the bottom that 99.9% of my channel is very thick-skinned, and that's super important if you come into my channel, because somebody will at some point rip on you, and it's all just in good fun. It's just a bunch of people just kicking back, relaxing, and just hanging out with each other. And so that has made me feel more comfortable about just who I am as a person, because it's not like it's some kind of a facade or something like that. Like this is I like to just kick the shit with other people, basically. And so instead of building this fake persona, which is what I literally did when I first started, instead of building that fake persona, I'm able to just kind of be me, basically. And
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Agreed. Yeah. I would say like it's connected me with a lot of people that I would consider very close friends. I think honestly that's probably the biggest thing. Like going to TwitchCon and seeing all the people that I had been connected with, and
Sharing a Michelada with a bearded guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking damn it. That's gonna be fucking.
It's gonna
This
be
year's gonna be even
awesome.
better, because like to me, when I went to TwitchCon last year, I was like, what did I do? Why did I do this? Because I was like, is this just gonna be filled with a bunch of people like, follow my channel, suck my dick, like all this fucking ridiculous shit? I was so worried that it would just be a big egotistical dick sucking contest, and like everybody that I talked to would be like, business card first. And there were some people who were like that, and I didn't talk with them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just minor interaction. I'm like, yeah, and then I wouldn't give my business card, and I'm like, I didn't make them, which is not true. But I'm not gonna, like, I don't lead with that, like, I want to know who you are as a person. And if your priority is to just be like, hey, follow me here, it's like, this is just you coming into my real life channel and saying, follow me here.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? It's not any different.
Yeah.
But it was not
exactly.
that. So I got to connect with a lot of really great people. And I think the internet's kind of, in terms of like the best thing that streaming's done for me, Decker, there's this philosophy that I have about like just streaming in general. It's not my own. It comes from somebody else. His name's Aubrey Marcus, a really fucking quality dude. Not everything he says I agree with, but this phrase, you are me living a different life, is so like drenched in my personality. It stops the whole you're an asshole thing. It's why I approach trolls the way I do, or quote unquote trolls the way I do. It's because I understand what it's like to be a person that has gone through a vast spectrum of life, and I'm going to encounter a lot of people who are on the same path. And the way I think about it is like, and the people that I bond with the most and have the greatest conversations with are the people that are close to me in some way, shape, or form. And they didn't live the same experiences, but I can be empathetic and understand how people are because of that phrase. And like going to TwitchCon and like growing closer with certain people over others, or gravitating towards different people's like gravitational pulls, what I call it. Because everybody's got their own vibe, their own like energy that brings people into their circle.
For sure.
Sometimes it's stronger than others, and the strength is determined by the individual that's in that pull. So like it just makes more sense. Like people fall in and out of circles. Like I say this all the time, I'll never be upset that somebody that came in here and had a discussion with me or subbed or whatever, I see them in another person's chat and they've been there for a longer time. Like there's no jealousy or resentment there. It's like we're all trying to find a place to connect, and if I can help be that catalyst to like introduce somebody to you or Meggles or like somebody else, like I fucking love that shit, because it makes my dick hard supporting my friends. Okay, like that's it. I just want like everybody to be feel like they belong somewhere, and it doesn't need to be here. And I love that shit. It's super great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that's what I like about it, man. It's Decker. It went from like a very selfish act for streaming to a very selfless act. Like I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I would say that the kind of the community involvement, or just the building of the personal relationships, is an unexpected side effect of what you had going on, because you begin to realize how small Twitch actually, you know what I mean? Like, you begin to realize how small, at least within our circle. I mean, it's not that big of a circle, and
it's purposely like that. You know what I mean? Like it's because we understand like what the internet is and like our comfortability with it, and you know, we can identify collectively a person and be like, is this a person or somebody who's like going through the motions and shit? Like, we can identify that easily.
It's your boy Fat Nuts. Follow my channel. Check out my fucking YouTube vids. I got a skinny penis. Let's do this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that. I got a skinny penis. That's on my resume.
Yeah.
It's actually like right underneath. Yeah, whenever I'm going for a
reason
job.
to donate.
Yeah.
It's a reason to donate.
Please donate. Please donate to me. I have a skinny penis.
I need a sleeve. I need a sleeve. My wife is mad. Help.
Yeah, help me, please. Help me, mommy. I need help. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good Decker. These are really thoughtful questions. Thank you for asking them. Does anybody else have questions for us? And while everybody's like thinking of something, Colt, do you have any questions for me now that we've had, like, dude, we've been talking for close to 3 hours now.
Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah. Man, I don't actually. I mean, I think I really enjoy I've always enjoyed your streams, and I really enjoy your ability to just have a conversation. It is incredibly rare in today's world to find somebody that is just a conversationalist, and and you're able to just carry something on, because we've talked about, I mean, look,
yeah,
we've got 3.5 hours of conversation, from the ocean to Ocean Man, to Donald Trump, to politics in general, to societal issues, all the way up to where we're at now, where it's been 3.5 hours.
I
really like that. Was there anything, I guess, that would be the question. Is there anything in your time before Twitch that, because you said that you were a little introverted, was there anything in your time before Twitch that made you kind of a conversationalist before what you actually got into here?
No, I mean, natural? I honestly, I don't think it was natural either, because Christina, my sister, who's in the chat quite frequently, and I say this all the time, I used to be a really big selfish asshole, and a lot of that came from not understanding myself. I was like 16. I would say from 16 to 20, I was a selfish fucking asshole, and a lot of it had to do with how I felt about myself, how I valued myself through other people. A lot of it had to do with the environment, like I was growing up in, because I grew up in an abusive household, and not physically, but like mentally debilitating, and I didn't understand like how that factored in anything. So it sounds really stupid, but I had like an aha moment. I was working at Best Buy. I was there for 3.5 years, and I was high for 3.5 years, smoking weed. And when I say I was high, like, people are like, oh, weed's not, addictive or whatever. It fucking can be if you're in the right mental state. I literally lost 3.5 years of my life. During that time I was in college. I barely remember what I was doing, other than like a handful of classes. And thank God I had amazing teachers in those classes, because I still hold the values that they had taught me and instilled me today. But I was essentially like a lost soul who didn't understand how to his emotions or anything. And it started with my diet first, because I felt like shit. I was always tired, and I never had the energy to do anything. And
for sure,
I was in a very bad cycle of just doing that, not remembering things, eating shitty, and sleeping late, and not taking care of myself. And so it started with that, and then with that, slowly but surely came a few ex-girlfriends and a lot of introspection and getting to know myself mentally, therapy, and the fascinating thing for me is through all of that, that phrase, "you are me living a different life," that is the most interesting thing to me. Is that like what is like, even if you're completely different than me, like I would love to know what makes you tick or what you're passionate about. And it doesn't need it can start with work, you know, we can start wherever in the conversation, but human behavior is extremely fascinating to me because through that I've gotten to know myself a whole lot better. So, you know, when you're talking about like these games you like to play, well, it means to me, we can extrapolate like, okay, is it the level of control you have? Like, is this the one spot you have control in? Is that a path you want to go down, or is that uncomfortable and we don't need to talk about it? You know, like there's all these variables in, it's sort of like a roguelike, where like we can go all these different variables and pathways, and like I'm open to exploring those things, and I am willing to traverse them with you and not just have you talk with like to me. Like we can do this together. You know what I mean? Like it's a conversation. Right. A lot of conversation for most people is I'm going to listen to you, but I'm waiting to respond. I'm not actually listening to you. You know what I mean? And I did that my entire life up until a certain point, and I certainly, you know, like experienced that firsthand from parents and colleagues and acquaintances and people who I thought were my friend. It was just like this, I don't know, it was a weird ocean to be swimming in. You don't, it's like have you ever heard of This Is Water? Mm-hmm. It's exactly like that, you know, like, how's the water today, boys? And like the fish don't even know they're in water. It was just, I was so deep swimming in the shit, I had no idea I was in it. And then eventually I got out of it, and then I was able to see everybody in it, and I was like, oh my god, we're all there, you know, we're all doing this, we're all swimming in the shit, everybody is fucking doing this, and it doesn't matter your age or whatever, like we're all experiencing things at different times in our lives. We choose not to allocate experience points, the XP Talk Show, experience points to certain aspects of our personalities, the way we live, all of that stuff. And that's not our fault. It's just a bandwidth issue. You know what I mean? So it's like, when I started looking at it like that, it's like, okay, well now that's when you were talking about the game and how you understand the fundamental physics of how the things work, and then you extrapolate upon that to build a colony, that's what a conversation is to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, dude, like a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah. Because as I started as a, which we won't go into that, but I started very introvert, forced introversion, based off of certain abusive relationships that I had been involved with, that eventually, it's just like you said, like once you get out of the shit and you're able to overlook everybody that's in the shit, and you're like, wow, like you're all in the shit, and they're like, we're not in the shit, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not in the shit, so I'm gonna go over and get away from y'all shit, you know?
Yeah,
because I just saw what the whole pile of shit looked like, you know. And it's
right.
And that is, because I think before that, I mean, I was pretty much just about as quiet as you can possibly be, you know, and not any form of extroverted whatsoever, because I tell everybody introvert with extroverted tendencies, because I will very easily, if somebody was to call me and be like, let's go to the club, I'd be like, the club, let's talk about that, but we can go to a bar or something, you know?
Right. Well, you probably have a stamina meter too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because like when you're maxed out, like, dude, it's exhausting being around people. You're like, can you just shut the fuck up?
Yeah. I actually took extra days off from work before TwitchCon, because I know that I'm going to need that complete
reset
silence. You know, like before TwitchCon, I need complete silence from everyone, and then I will go to TwitchCon. I will hang out with all these people that I'm super excited to hang out with, self included. And then after that, I have an additional 2 days off to just shut everyone the fuck off for a minute after I get off the plane, and then go from there.
Yeah. Me too, Colt. Me too. Were you clean shaven at the time when you were going through all that?
No, I've actually never been clean shaven. I was in the 6th grade when my beard started growing. So
oh yeah,
I'm a hairy boy.
Hairy boy. I'm the opposite. I just have good stash genes. The beard is pretty much it. That actually was like a picture. It was weird. It was Christmas. I tell the story a lot, but it was Christmas a few years ago, And I don't know why I never got the idea. It just never occurred to me. But I had a beard and mustache, and it was mostly beard at a certain point. And my beard doesn't connect to my mustache. And I didn't know, like, I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's keep going, whatever. And it never happened because I've got like blonde red hair. And so I'm looking at my family photos. Yeah, I'm looking at my family photos like at my parents' house, and I'm like looking at all these, and I'm like, damn, dude, there's a lot of good mullets and a lot of good mustaches. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I did it. And then yeah, pretty much everybody was like, howdy doodly, Steve, and that's where I'm at now. So howdy ho.
I get a lot of Skyrim belongs to the Nords whenever they talk to me. And I'm like, it's played at this point. It's been played out. Okay.
Yeah. Come up with something original, you fucks.
Yeah. I actually, my current job, I had to tame it back, but at one point in time, which I think I've only got like one picture of it, and it's a horrible picture, but I had a beard that was like down to here.
I believe you.
It was every bit as bushy, and it was all the way down to here. It like had a mind of its. Like I was that redneck that I was riding down the road, and and I had my dip in, and my beard would just be hanging out the window, just blowing in the wind.
I feel like before you would like do anything that required like great physical force, you'd toss your beard over your shoulder. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then you would like fucking approach. That's right, Soph. 50% Oakley, 50% Dokley. Yeah, that's me.
I'd have like a sling for it.
Yeah, not even a sling. You're just like, all right.
Yeah. let's get on with life.
Kind of like how like a girl would like flip her hair. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the guy in Kill Bill. Yes. Broken foot. Exactly. Hey May. Yes. Exactly. Hell yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
You guys don't have any more questions for Colt or me? Huh? Oh, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, Colt. Go ahead.
No. It wasn't important. It was silly.
Always silly. AI overlords? Yeah or nah? AI overlords. Are you talking about robots? Robots? AI overlords. Jatalica, what is the best bagel for flying? A plain bagel. Oh, let me tell that joke again.
What is the best bagel for flying? A plain bagel.
That was a courtesy of Sequisha. He taught me that.
I'm 5'7", Shred. Go fuck yourself.
I'm talking AI running your politics, and you to the extent necessary to keep us going versus trust what we are doing now. See, that's a really hard one, Panic, because like I think the ideal situation is that AI is cohesively created with humans, integrated in some way, shape, or form. So basically, well, let me ask you this, Panic. Did you see the Neuralink stuff? Did you?
That's so weird. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah. That is super fucking cool.
It freaked me out. Yeah. I couldn't believe that the technology existed.
That's even a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, yeah, it's 10,000 times smaller than what you think it is. And I'm like,
Yeah. Your mind can't even wrap around it, And when they were talking about each one of the individual threads.
Yeah.
That's
being smaller than the brain blood vessels, and it's non-intrusive, and the whole thing. Did you see that robot? That's a fucking Matrix robot, 100%.
Robot that just drops these little threads into your brain.
Yep.
And then if you're completely paralyzed from the waist down, the idea behind it is that you think and step with your left foot, and then your left foot fucking steps, or you just think to yourself, walk, and you begin walking, but it's just natural, like we do already. It's crazy.
Panic, please do yourself a favor and watch that. And it's very hard in the beginning because Elon does not do a good job of talking about it. I thought this was going to be a shit show from the beginning because of how Elon is as a person. And just look up Neuralink on YouTube. Here. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, here, I actually got it right here. I actually saved the video on it.
That's so great. Yeah.
Here, I'll drop it to you and you can throw it in your chat. It is fascinating.
Yeah,
it's and Elon Musk, like, stick with him when he's talking about it, because he might be one of the worst public speakers on the fucking planet, and he really needs to hire a marketing guy. But stick with him because he does release some good information, and then the actual scientists that are working on it pick it up because I believe that he is funding it, right? He's not actually, man, I mean, the things that they're talking about are literally life-changing for all of us, not just for the people that are directly affected by it. I mean, it's
God, when he
life-changing
said
for
that,
everyone.
After solving some neurological issues, diseases, then we can think about the external crisis of AI or combat it. I mean, that's the point. Like, what are you fucking talking about, dog? You can't open with that. You can't open with it. Okay, that's not a good opener for everyone.
Because he's literally actually terrified about AI.
Yes, he's a big advocate about, and he should be. Like, to be honest, like, Panic, to kind of, you can't really answer the question, but ideally, I would like to see a society where, like, cohesively AI and humans become a thing, because we can be
like
better than what we are.
iRobot without the genocide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the danger of it is, well, Ex Machina is pretty much what it is. But then again, like, Ex Machina isn't really the story about how AI is bad. It's about how a sociological psychopath created a sociological psychopath, because that's all he could do. It's yeah, fucking nuts. That's also a great movie, Panic. You should check that out. Any other questions for us, homies? Thank you guys so much for hanging out this whole time and, like, participating. Like, this was definitely, like, one of my favorite episodes. Like always, after we finish these episodes, they will be highlighted and put into the appropriate playlist. If you guys want to check out any of the other collections, they are all here. I am exporting them out to YouTube, and because of the algorithm, I will be releasing them at least once a week, starting this coming week. I'm probably going to do it like Mondays in the afternoon. You guys want to keep updated on that, you can do it on Twitter when I post the video. And again, please be sure you're following Colt if you're already in here not doing it already. Was drawing from the games, not pulling the plot wholesale. Oh, Deus Ex. Gotcha. Okay. More like the overarching theme. I like that game a lot, but...
Yeah, the Deus Ex games are great. I don't know if they
Did you play Mankind Divided? Because I did not. I only played Human Evolution.
Oh, man. That's literally one of my favorite games. Yeah, it's very good.
I played... the first one I ever played was on original Xbox, I think. It was Invisible War.
Oh, yeah.
That one was so dope. Yeah, that was a great game.
Human Revolution was really good, but fucking Mankind Divided, and it got a lot of hate because of the microtransactions that were in it, but it was a single player fucking game. You didn't have to buy any of the things. It's a single player game. Like, you don't,
so it was just
forcing you.
Yeah, it was just like it was just to progress you quickly in the game or whatever, right?
Well, it ended up basically killing the series because of that. But man, Mankind Divided, if you enjoy like the cyberpunk kind of style,
I do, yeah.
Man, what a good game.
I like the morality, like, decisions. It was essentially like it was like The Witcher or whatever. It made like a living, breathing world that you got to participate in, and it wasn't just like the main plot. There was other things that play in there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, J-Talica. We just watched the trailer actually for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. We're gonna be playing that for sure.
We basically sold the entire chat on that game. Capcom is actually in my DMs right now.
Yeah,
talking about a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
it's perfect. Millions of us.
Give me more Geometric Shapes, boy. Geometric Shapes Boy 64. That's why they call me that. I'm just kidding. Oh God. Anything? Any last stuff, Colt? When's your next stream?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
We'll be playing Men of Medan, and then we're also going to play, depending upon, because I think I have some misconceptions on how long that game, but depending upon how long Men of Medan is, we're going to be moving into the Blair Witch game that just came out. And then we'll be back on the strategy games come Sunday. But I do like to play horror games from time to time. So
awesome. Again, you guys can check out Colt on his Twitch channel. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Colt, what do you have anybody live that you'd like to raid?
Man, and thank you so much for having me. Like, this was an absolute blast,
dude. It won't be the last, 100%. I have to schedule these out like a few weeks, so I this was one of my favorite conversations that I've had. I figured, like, I always reach out to people that I feel like I would have a great conversation with, and so I'm essentially banking people that can be repeat talk show guests, and I'm trying to organize more than just a 2-person discussion. So yeah, I think eventually we get to the point where, like, I don't know, man, we could do like a game discussion or whatever. I just got to organize it, and it's going to take time just because work for me is most of my life, you know?
I don't have anybody too crazy. Oh, shit. Ace LP. Here, I'll give you his link.
Yeah.
He's actually playing Blair Witch right now, and he's one of
How do you spell it? Because I can't use Discord while you're in it. Yeah.
Just Ace.
Oh, there we go.
LP.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite people on Twitch, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Definitely have to give him a follow. He's live still?
Yeah.
Okay,
live.
he might